I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall. Fear I weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Take me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you. In the blackened eyes, make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me
Welcome in, guys. Welcome in to the top cut for Ursiiday's Pokemon Pocket Weekly number 28. Oh my god, we are so far into that numbers now. But thank you guys so much for being here. I am so excited for our top cut today. But I'm even more excited to get to introduce you guys, or reintroduce you guys, to my awesome co-cast, Jody, also known as SoulSurv or SoulSurvgc or SoulSurvgc. You know, however you want to pronounce it. He's a fantastic Pokemon Pocket content creator. He was in the top 3 last season with a lot of really interesting decks. And he's a Decidueye Meowscarada hater who lied about the deck and then went and played it himself. So here we are for today's top cut. Jody, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm being set up. No. Hi guys, I'm Jody, SoulSurvgc, working on just being just Jody, you know. But for now, we're here. I'm happy to be here. We have the 28th verse today. Is kind of crazy to think about, because that's like over half a year now.
Yeah, it's
Ursiidays.
just like, I think it's like 2 weeks. It's like, what is it, 52 weeks in a year, 56 weeks in a year? I never really know.
Yeah, 104 days of summer vacation, but
Ooh.
definitely
Summer is
52
starting.
weeks. Yeah. But honestly, you've been killing it, and I'm happy to be a part of another one of these. And there's a lot of really cool decks. I think that this is probably
Decidueye Meowscarada
one of the most
included.
diverse metas. Meowscarada, Decidueye included. I think that was. Does everyone know? Does chat know about that?
I don't know if everyone does, but I'm just saying. I messaged Jody and I was like, hey Jody, I'm having trouble climbing. I want to play a Meowscarada list or a grass list. What do you think I should play? I'm thinking Decidueye. And he was like, Decidueye sucks. Don't play Decidueye. That's why you're not masters yet. He didn't add that part, but that was part of my head. And lo and behold, I checked his stream as I continued to lose my master game. Man's playing the Decidueye Meowscarada list. It's whatever. And I think there's 3 in our top 64 today. Do I feel vindicated?
No. It was so goofy, because I'm like, Meowscarada, Decidueye, no, that doesn't make sense. And then like I was going through my own losing streak. And then I was like, what if we build a Meowscarada deck? And then someone was like, hey, I've been playing Decidueye Meowscarada, I'm in the top 50, and I'm like, let me do that. And then I go back to check our DMs, and you're like, Jody, I'm losing. What do I do? And then I'm like, you should try Decidueye Meowscarada.
I messaged him. I was like, Jody, I can't stop losing. What should I do? He's like, Decidueye Meowscarada. I was like, what do you mean, Decidueye Meowscarada? Oh man.
But
It was a
But
day.
there's 3. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them, right? You mentioned 3 in cut. That's really cool. Are there any decks that like stuck out to you that you're excited for? Obviously, I think this, like I said, it's probably the most diverse meta we've had. There's so many decks. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for good gameplay.
There's so many different decks. I get my judges to like do a count every single week. There's 18 different decks. 18 different deck styles. There are 17 Giratina Darkrais, but then there's 14 Giratina Greninjas. There's 8 Arceus Crobats. There's 6 Garchomp Rampardoses. There's 3 Decidueye Meowscaradas, an Arceus Giratina, a pure Incineroar, 2 Charizard Incineroars, Solgaleo Skarmory is back, Magnazone or Coreo is back, 2 different Banette lists. a Solgaleo Solgaleo Kangaskhan,
It's
um,
like
Lycanroc Rampardos, Lunala Giratina,
mm,
a Redactyl Rampardos, a pure Beedrill, and a Giratina Snorlax.
yeah, and I think what's so beautiful is in the Garantina Greninja bubble, there's so many different versions, right? There's
Yeah.
Choreo, there's Tapu Lele, um, and it's
Oh,
cool because like I kind of oh yeah, you go.
no, I was going to ask you, have you checked out? I think it's Rin's list. It's Rin Diaz.
Let me
It
check.
says Greninja, but you should just check out his list. It's let me see if I can find the number for it. There's like
Yeah,
6
Rendis. Oh
different.
yeah, 6'2". Oh my god, yes, I saw this yesterday. It's like, oh, it's Greninja Garantina, but it has Bulu, Scyther, Shaman, Oricorio, Delmise. It's like the grassiest box to ever exist.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're cooking, but they're in top 64. I made like a joke tweet the other day that was like, this is like 70% of the meta. And it's just like Froakie, Greninja, Garantina, your rare candy, your Pokeball, your Oak, and then you can add like 8 cards. So
Well,
this guy took it to heart.
yeah, 5 of his added 8 cards are all grass Pokemon. Did you expect to see Delmise in the top 64?
No, I did not. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this deck probably does like really good into Darkrai, right? And you mentioned that there's like 18 Darkrai's. That's over a fourth of this top 64. If this person gets the bracket that they need, we can see this deck make it so far, right? They're already in top 64.
Yeah, that would be absolutely insane. I want this deck in like the top 4. I think the other deck I want is I think like
Mhm.
Galeo or Kangaskhan
Mhm.
would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
You want to know what's a crazy statistic?
Oh, give it to
Um,
me.
so that Rin this person, you
Hmm.
would think that this deck, you're like, oh, this person had to only play against Darkrai guys. If you
They
look at
didn't.
the matches, they didn't play a single Darkrai Garantina.
What?
So
What?
I don't know what they're doing, but they've done so good. Yeah, like I checked their matches, and it's just like
Bro.
everything that isn't.
Bro.
uh,
And it looks like
um,
he's going against a Charizard Incineroar this next
yeah.
round.
So we'll see how that goes for them. Can I say something that's also kind of the deck I'm excited about, but it might be a boring answer.
Yeah, give it to me.
The person who's 8-0, Mock Moko Mock, is using Arceus Crobat, but with a Darkrai Garantina Splash. So it's like 2 decks in 1.
I saw this
And I
actually
really
as
like this.
well. This looks really cool to me. Okay, because like there
Yeah.
was like at the beginning of last set, there was like kind of a list where it was like Arceus, Giratina, Darkrai, and they used
Yeah.
Dawn, similar to this one. I'm kind of interested in it.
Yeah.
I'm interested in it. All I'm saying. I remember 8P Cheese, he was like one of the first people to Masters, and I watched
Mhm.
him play it, and I was like, bro, I need to play this list. I need to play this list.
Yeah.
Did I figure it out very well? No, I'm terrible at Dawn. I see the Dawn, I see the energy, I rip it. Do I think about it? No. The dopamine,
No.
too powerful. That's why I'm not a top 3 player, but I'm excited for when they hit the Dawn for this deck.
Hell yeah.
Dopamine, too powerful.
The dopamine too powerful. I love that.
That's my problem with Dawn and
Uh,
Charizard as well. I like could never like I was like, it's time. Like, Ursi,
it's
no.
time.
You want to give a Charmeleon? No, it's time. It's time.
Speaking obviously other things, right? The last time we casted, we were both Charizard lovers.
Oh yeah.
But how have you been feeling about the new Charizard list? There's a lot of Incineroar there.
I like
What are your
it.
thoughts there?
I like it. I did a 12-win streak in the Masters with it.
Ooh,
The same exact
okay.
list that you have, and I think Sigan also runs. I saw he was still running it on a tweet that he posted
Yeah.
last night. So it's still I wanted to say same 60, same 20. It looks like a really strong deck to me. It feels really strong when you play it. Every single time, I'm just hoping for my second Lily. The only thing that I'm really sad about at times is I have no healing for my baby Mons.
Yeah,
And I feel like
that is
sometimes they
true.
carry you more than you expect. But I did see a
Yeah.
couple of those in our top 64 today as well, which is going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
Talking about Charizard, though, Charizard EX Moltres had, at least early in the tournament last week, a really good win rate. It's still 51.6%. But did you check
Mm-hmm.
out this list at all?
Yeah. So, are we looking at Thunderlow's
Yeah, we can
list?
check out Thunderlol's list.
Well, unfortunately, Thunderlow's did just miss out. I
Yeah.
think that it's interesting how Charizard Moltres kind of like vanished, right?
Yeah.
Uh, which is I think it's still good, which is crazy. I think it's still good, but I guess the new Shining Reverie Charizard is here to stay. And I think the only thing I'm sad about is that I only have one shiny Charizard EX, so it bothers me. I don't have like a matching
Same,
playset.
actually. Same.
Oh, okay, I'm glad we have the shared pain. I will say, one of the biggest thoughts I have with the new Charizard, I cannot like. I think that like, you went on a 12 win streak.
Mhm.
I can't get a win with this deck on ranked, and I
Wait,
don't
what?
know. Like, I don't know. It's just me maybe. Like it has to be me because I see you going on a 12 win streak. I see Seagun going on like a 13 win streak in top 100. I played Charizard and Incineroar, and I get Mars turn one. I get red carded turn one. I'm like, oh my, I have the hand. I'm so happy.
Oh,
Red
yeah,
card
that's
turn
really
one.
scary. The number one
Was
thing you
crying.
have to do is you have to make them not want to do it. There's this thing, like,
Yeah,
you start your hand and you have every piece, and you're like, you have the research in hand, you can't rip it. You're like,
yeah.
oh, kitty cat, oh no, I have nothing in my hand. Please don't Mars me, please don't Mars me. That's,
Please don't. Literally.
please don't do it, don't do it. Oh no, I have nothing, I'm just gonna have to cape my Charmander here. There's only 4 cards in my hand, surely you won't red card me.
Yeah, no, people are very liberal in their use of red card. I
Right
think
now,
that is.
yeah.
Yeah, that might be my biggest gripe with the meta, is that rare candy has made it to where running like multiple red cards in
Mhm.
Mars is like meta and optimal. And so like I sometimes I'm like, is this gonna be my hand in a turn? Is this gonna be my hand in 2 turns? I don't even know anymore. Even when if like I'm like, I'll keep this card. I have 4 cards in hand. There's no way they'll red card me. I get red carded, and I'm like, I should have played that like Froakie or that like any other card to make my cards 3. But I think it's like a skill that people need to learn at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think definitely like uh I definitely think there's like some skill we're having to like almost like I feel like red card when it first came out. I was still a big red card believer. I know a lot of people are not. I have a whole fights about it, but it's okay. I was still a big red card believer, but I felt like it was way stronger later in the game because because like your starting hand wasn't always the strongest, right? Like you needed
Yeah.
that strong card at the end of the game, but it wasn't always strong at the beginning. But now
Mm-hmm.
the supporters are so strong. All of them are so strong that like even opting for red cards so that you can red card and Iono or red card and Cyrus or red card and whatever, or do it turn 1 at the same time that you research, right?
Yeah.
Just feels a lot better. Even though with a Mars, sometimes you could get them down to 1 card if you're not able to Lily that turn instead, so that your Charizard stays alive. Why does it matter? It's kind of interesting to see it re-emerge with
Yeah.
all the powerful supporters, though. I'm gonna check in with our judges here.
Yeah. Please do. Please do. While you do that, I cannot wait. There's so many like we didn't even talk about the Banette decks, and I'm just here for good pocket. Hopefully when it starts, we'll give you guys a really fun game. But also, do you guys? I mean, I'm sure Ursi's been yapping about it, but there's a 10K tournament next week,
wonder
which
who's doing
is gonna be super hype. I'll be playing in it. But there's gonna be lots of big content creators also playing in it and also supporting it. So yeah, please register for that. I need to yap more about that. I think Pocket having like prize support is crazy.
I'm so excited about it. It's gonna be so much fun. I think the 10K. My goal, if anybody has any skit ideas or things like that, please send me the DMs. I want it to be like as close to on par to regionals as possible, to where like, let's say someone from Pokemon turns it on, that they go, wait, is this us? it should be us. It should be you, Pokemon. But yeah, so definitely, if anybody has these good ideas, I'm very excited as well for the 10K. I'm gonna have so many great content creators like Jody on with me, which is gonna be so much fun. We're gonna watch him play the games. We're gonna get to watch him through the arc of the tournament. We'll get to have some really fun interviews in between. Maybe we'll have Jody on to de-scramble some Pokemon or something like that at the same time. But it'll be a lot of fun. And if anyone is interested in joining us, we do have that open to anyone to join already. It currently has, let's see, 1,572 signups a week out. So make sure you go in and grab your spot, guys, because I think we're going to have a blast. And, it's going to be a fun thing that we can all say that we were a part of at one time or another. So really, really excited about it. With that being said, I think that we will be able to get into our tournament games here. Let me just let people know that they can start if they have an okay from judges. Do you have a preference? I did hear you mention Banette. I think Banette's really interesting. I would kind of love to watch it against a Charizard, even though I'm loving Charizard. Sometimes, you want to see the pain. You want to see the pain. But do you have a deck
there's
that
one
you want
playing
to...
against a Darktina. There's two Banette lists. There's a Banette Mewtwo and there's a Banette Mew deck. One's playing against Darktina, the other's playing against Solgaleo Skarmory.
Interesting.
Very interesting decks. There is also let's see if there's any other cool things. Oh, I know Salad's playing the Oricorio mirror. Maybe not the mirror yet.
Yeah, maybe not the mirror yet. It's definitely very heavy in the meta right now, and it's a very slow game at the beginning, I feel like.
No, extremely.
I love it.
I would love to see.
Still.
Yep. No, I get you. Maybe the Toshi versus Kuronala, right? Two decks that are underrepresented in the meta, Banette Mewtwo versus Solgaleo Skarmory. One that actually kind of had a fall from grace, right?
Yeah, it did. It was the top of last week, and now it's what was it, like 7th or 8th? I kind of think honestly there was just so much hate for Solgaleo Skarmory last week. Like everyone came with decks that could beat it, and so it just didn't have a chance.
I think the emergence of Snorlax, right?
Oh, Snorlax as well. Even I remember I made like a stupid Oricorio list with Wigglytuff. Even when I made it, I was like, it has to be able to beat Solgaleo and Skarmory.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it was just like the top deck at the time. It looks like we're gonna be in channel 28 though, if we want to hop to there.
Yeah, so I will join you there.
Perfect. Just making sure we have it up, and then I'll get it going. Y'all can start when ready.
Interesting. I remember I hosted like a really quick blitz tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and a player did top 4 with Banette, but it's also a deck that kind of just quietly left as quickly as it came. And maybe because I think that like a lot of players didn't know what Banette did at the beginning, right? And now people are a little bit more wiser to like realize, oh, I just have to touch to the back so I don't get Banetted.
The thing is, as well, though, with Banette, is that, you're like, oh man, all I have to do is attach to the Pokemon to attack on the bench, and I'm safe.
Yep.
But then, your Pokemon's in the active, your guy's fully powered up on the bench. Nobody runs retreat cards anymore. So how are you getting it out of the active? You can't attach energy to it. And that was my problem when I went against it, is I couldn't retreat, and then I cried.
I played yesterday on stream. Or 2 days ago, I played a really trolly deck, and it was like Banette, and they had double Team Rocket Grunt, and they just grunted my Garantina that had 2 energy, and they just kept locking me inactive. It was like Gengar Garantina. I'm like, what is this deck? What is not only just like, what is this deck? Why am I losing to this deck? And then, it like came down to like we ran through all our cards, and obviously Oricorio was able to like wall the Gengar, but it was so silly. So I'm excited to see a more legitimate tournament version.
Blitz tournaments are a lot of fun though. I do enjoy them. You know, when you can do them. Uh, Definitely very different though to run like those like BO1s versus like a
Yeah.
BO3. But you even see that like in the physical card game. Like if I remember, if I could be wrong, so please chat correct me, right? But in TCP with like the Japanese circuit, they do BO1s.
hmm Oh my
And
god.
so the
Uh,
meta in Japan can be, I mean, they also get the card 6 week in advance, but like it can
hmm
be very, very different than what you're going to see in the TCPI circuit that is BO3.
Okay,
Because
so
like a
it's
deck
just
that,
like VGC.
yeah, exactly. So like the decks that, you know, succeed in BO1 are not always the ones that succeed in BO3, and the ones that succeed in BO3 not always good in BO1. But as you see here, Cronulla is going to be starting with that Cosmog in the active versus Tushi's Taphilele. Taphilele cannot do
Oh
any
my.
damage until there's energy on one of the Pokemon on Cronulla's side,
hmm
though.
Yeah, very interesting start too. I think that choosing not to just bench anything, just start the Lele, and also they obviously have Mars in this deck
Hmm.
list, which we'll probably end up seeing really soon, right?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if you do like a really early one. As we talked about in some of those stage twos, it can be really crippling to put someone
hmm
down to 3 cards.
Hugely, right? I think it is very interesting though. I feel like this matchup though, like naturally has to be just a little bit not too great for the Tapu Lele guys because
Hmm.
of like the low HP, because of the ability of Cosmog, right? Cosmog or not Cosmog, Solgaleo has Rising Road,
Yeah.
and you're allowed to like attach to the bench active and then come in. So very interested to see how they do this. Oh,
Oh, really early.
yeah, just really early GGs. Extremely unfortunate. Quick game. Let's hope that game two is less unfortunate, right?
Yeah. Fingers
I did
crossed who
like
she has a better
mention,
game.
fingers crossed. I did mention this, one of the reasons it's a bad matchup is that like 120 damage is a lot for when your Pokemon are like 90 HP max, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, being able to one shot Pokemon, I feel like that was like similar with like some of the fighting decks. It's like once something, obviously,
mhm,
fighting decks can power up fast. They swing for a lot.
yeah.
When they're all 80 health or below, and one Pokemon gets powered up on the other side that's able to swing for more than that, they're just going to sweep half the time unless, you know, you
hmm
have enough time to set up another attacker. I think I didn't really think about the ability that you were mentioning, like Solgaleo's uh, Rising Road. I mentioned that it wouldn't be, you know, I got stuck because I couldn't attach my active to treat it, but you don't need to do that versus as a Solgaleo player.
Yeah. I think that's like very important. I think like Solgaleo is like why it's like less seen is because of the top meta decks. Like Darktina
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of HP. Arceus can like combat them really well. Obviously Zard is also just extremely strong. So it's very interesting, you know, uh to see like what becomes of the opponent here. And obviously we're seeing a double Rocky helmet attachment.
Oh,
Uh ooh, it's gonna deal a lot of damage if you attack it back. But it should be important to note that the Banette can attack this turn. It can afford to attack, which is really nice to know. Uh,
is Banetta one energy
just need
attack?
the it is a one energy attacker,
Oh.
yes. Banette and Shuppet, right? I
Mm-hmm.
you conflated both of them.
Oh, my bad,
But
my
yeah, this is
bad.
a no, you're good. This is a free attack, specifically because your opponent can't switch into Skarmory, right? And
Yeah.
attack because this deck runs no X speeds or leaves.
Yeah, that's a great point. And some people talk about the decks being too small now, but I kind of like this like idea where you have to choose between them because sometimes I'm like, we have no room for X speed now, right? But is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Is that bad? I don't really know, but this is definitely a moment where if you have 5 extra spaces, maybe you would have ran X speed here and you could knock out the Shuppet.
Mm-hmm. This is very interesting, because you can now technically energy lock this Skarmory, but again, if you get rare candied into Solgaleo, it's gonna come right back out.
Yeah,
So very scary. Lots of decisions to make here. If you are the Banette player.
for sure. I think it's interesting they decided to do 120 damage on the Solgaleo. You were talking about earlier, like Darkrai is such
Mhm.
big health on it. You can only one shot a Darkrai with red and them not hitting
Mhm.
Cape, which does seem like a bit of a problem when you're having like, you know, the kitty cat who hits it for 150, same number of
Mhm.
energies, one less point. Uh,
Uh,
but
I I think it's very like interesting, right? I think that like one of the things that Rare Candy did is like if you're a 2 energy or less attacker, you got an immense buff, right? So Solgaleo
mhm.
was championing that. So I think it's like a very balanced, like 120, not too high, not too low. But unfortunately, obviously not. Oh my wait, this is
Oh, so
very interesting.
they haven't hit Solgaleo because they could have, or with Candy, right? Because they would have been able to revolve
Yeah.
last turn and attack. Uh, it
Oh
looks like,
no.
oh,
That was a kind of brutal misplay of sorts if you think about it. You are against Tapu Lele, you're not supposed to attach as much energy because it deals damage based off of energy attachments. So by putting 2 energy onto that Cosmog, it became range for this Lele. Wow, I think that is one of the reasons why Lele Banette is so cool. Banette locks down the front so they can attach
mm-hmm.
energy. If you're attaching energy to the back, Lele snipes it. So really, really cool that we got to see that combo just now.
Yeah, I wonder if they just like forgot about the fact there was already 20 damage on it. Because most of the time, that Cosmog would survive with
Mhm.
60 health. But that's going to be a very quick concede coming down as well on the side of
Yeah.
Kuranala. So let's get into our
Hmm.
game 3. But yeah, really, really interesting misplay. Because, maybe when you're grumpy, you can't attach to your active. It happens.
Yeah, and I think mistakes happen all the time, right? But I think that's like kind of cool, all the decisions, right? Think of where we came from. Pokemon Pocket in the first month. The only decision you had to make is like which Pikachu am I attaching to, right? Um,
That's
and
not
now we've
completely
gotten
true
to
because we
so many
had the
points where there's
Sabrina-ing. I felt like the
yeah,
shuffling
we had
was interesting of
yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah. I think like it's interesting now, right? Because there's so many uh ways to like win the game. There's so
Yeah,
many like really really cool things that you always every time have to like keep in mind. And I think that's like one of the coolest parts of Pocket right now.
for sure. Yeah, there's so many interesting ways, like over attaching versus, I mean, Lele or Gallade, right? Having pings that synergize with Cyrus, with Greninja. Uh, So, I mean, just so many different ones. Banette just completely locking your Pokemon down and not allowing for energy. It's gonna be really awesome, in my opinion, to see how this game continues to grow because I really think they've done a great job with it.
I agree. I think that like obviously like decks are starting to feel cramped,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still like so like decks now compared to decks back then. It feels like a night or day difference. And
Oh
we're
yeah.
here like currently Kuranala has to make a decision, right? About like can you get like afford getting stuck inactive? If you make this teleport now and they have Banette, you're locked. But what does that say about their hand? Do they have rare candy? This is
Yeah.
a very, very pivotal turn, for sure.
Yeah, it's a great question. Like, and there's so many things that players have to account for now, even like when you're deciding how much damage something does. Tapu Lele's damage changes every turn. Banette's damage is not just damage, locking down those energies. Mewtwo, the energy is changing potentially every other turn, right? Or every turn, depending how much energy
Mm-hmm.
you're generating. Uh, so much to think about
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. But as I said, this is a very quick one. We're already in game 3, right? We had like two very early game enders. and here they're kind of figuring out what they want to do. Do they want to attach to the Lele or do they want to attach to the Banette? Of course, if they attach to the Banette, they won't be able to get the KO that they're looking for. So I wonder, what decision do you make? Do you even charge the Mewtwo, right? I don't know what the most optimal play is for Tushi, but there's a lot of decision making that you have to go through here.
Yeah. We have Cape.
Yeah. I think if you're and the timer, it's 8 seconds. They have to make the
I
play.
don't
They're
even
going to
have
attack.
time.
I think they're going for it.
Okay,
And
we
they
hit
get the
it, we hit
attack
it.
off. Whew. What this will do now is allow for a safe retreat if need be to the Tapu Lele. But of course the cape is used. It's very important to think about. And of course we don't know our opponent's hand, right? This can be a very quick game if we the metal energy attachment, kind of revealing that there is not too much to be worried about yet, at the very least.
For sure, for sure. And, you know, if we'd just been able to find Banette there, that energy attachment could have been very different.
In fact, there would be no energy attachment onto the Skarmory, so
They could in the other Skarmory, though.
That is true. It is very interesting. I think that this I just love, like I said, all the decision making that both players have to do, and we're also going to see a ping onto the Cosmog, putting this Cosmog kind of on a timer, right? Because if Tushi, has Cyrus, they will be able to Cyrus. No, the rare candy. I think that signals the beginning of the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was thinking if the game went long enough, the ping kind of puts it in range like a Mewtwo attack, but like we're not getting 4 energies out of thin air here.
Yeah. This deck, the Banette deck, heavily relies on, you getting to Banette. And if you don't get to Banette, if you get to Banette a little bit later, right, this can be an issue.
For sure, yeah. Tragic, but I mean, since they're only trading 1 pointers right now, maybe there's like, I don't know. It's what you're saying though, right? Where like there's just so much damage this Solgaleo is going to be doing here, so you don't have the time, even though we're just trading in 1.
So there is one out right now. This deck list does run Team Rocket Grunt. So, we're gonna see a Sabrina. Okay.
I'm down for Team Rocket.
You're like, for the record, I'm with Team Rocket Grunt.
I love Team Rocket Grunt. It was actually my favorite cards in Meowscarada V-Drill.
I think there was no better feeling last set than Team Rocket grunting a Gyarados and then just keeping it energy locked.
Yeah, or like the Giratina comes up, he's like, "Oh, I've had enough time to bellow. You got nothing now." And it's like, meet Team Rocket Grunt. All I need is 1 heads, and there's a 75% chance you're going down, buddy.
No, literally. I will like to highlight that this was a very, very smart attachment by Kuronala. Putting an extra metal energy on the Solgaleo was to prevent any potential Team Rocket grunts, right? But unfortunately, the deck is too fast, and we are seeing Solgaleo advance to top 32. Kuronala.
Let's go Solgaleo. I mean, almost a better showing than last week, that's for sure. We have a lot of time till next set.
We do.
Our lovely Giratina Greninja +5 grass Pokemon has gone on to our top 32.
Oh my god, they did it! So we need to catch a game of theirs.
We will have to, yeah. Wait, they did it. Their opponent is either going to be a Garchomp Rampardos or a Darkrai Giratina with 1 Oricorio in it. That matchup is 1-1 current. But they just finished their game 2 if we want to try to hop into that.
Yeah, which number would that be?
Channel 57.
All right, see you there.
There. You want to let chat have an idea of what's happening while I try to get this all set up?
Yeah, so we are seeing a Mars come up on the very first turn. This is a situation I've already talked about that stresses me out. And we are gonna see it's been at least 3 turns. The Darkrai player looks like they're in a very commanding spot. But of course, we don't know what was just Mars into Azelma's hand. Um, they are currently attaching to the back, which means that there is quite some time. But the Garchomp player is definitely being put on a timer as the pings are rising.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, just like we were talking about the Mars or red card with Charizard,
Mm.
it's not Infernape, Incineroar.
Mm-hmm.
The Skibble and the Rampardo is just another stage 2 deck. And in this case, actually running more stage 2s than, you know, Charizard
Yeah.
itself. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Oricorio does find its way into the bench from easy, but
Mm-hmm.
Rampardos just destroys Oricorio. So there's not a huge concern
Yeah.
there.
That is true. It does do that, but it also walls the Garchomp EX. So it's like a very interesting dichotomy. And we're already seeing one of the problems of attaching to the back against Garchomp, right? Is that
Mm-hmm.
Garchomp is able to spread damage anywhere. So this game looked not too great for did not look too great for Azelma, and it suddenly flipped. Oh my gosh.
The fact that Garchomp can
Mhm.
do 50 damage to literally any Pokemon barring
And-
abilities that still are effective on the bench, aka Oricorio, 50 Pokemon to any of the Pokemon on Easy's board is
Yeah.
absolutely insane for just 1 energy. So even though he doesn't have that 3 energy, I'm not really sure he cares. He's just gonna continue
Yeah.
to poke at the different Pokemon he wants to. But if he has red, he
Mhm.
could KO this Darkrai this turn.
That is true. I think the thing is, the longer this game goes, right, the more advantage Azalma has at finding that Rampardos. And once Azalma finds that Rampardos takes like early KO, we can be looking at the end of this game.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot to take in, a lot to think about. But one of the things about Darkrai is that they have so many options, so many ways to play the game. So very interesting to see what they're setting up here. And the Leaf is huge actually. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, this could be a really interesting leaf. Only thing is though is nothing can really knock out the Garchomp this turn.
Mm,
Um Even like paired with the leaf, it's only max gonna do 80 damage, 130 damage, and with that ping or attachment onto Darkrai, I'm assuming we're gonna see the Darkrai put forward.
yes,
Am I correct? Yep,
we
okay.
will be. You are correct. And what this is basically doing is setting up a situation where Azelma is on a timer, right?
Yep, 100%.
Even if you Lily, you're still liable to be KO'd by this Giratina. So what you do here is important, and we are seeing the switch. Is this the
Ooh.
Rampardos? Oh my gosh.
Uh, Giratina can knock it out next turn, but I mean, Garchomp just finishes it off with the 3 energy attack. So.
Yeah, well, here's the important thing is that the Garantina's at 3 energy. Because of the not the wasted, but the energy that's on the front back Darkrai was not attached to say the Garantina earlier. This is put in a situation where the Rampardos is actually safe this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy on M does not have a way to KO this Rampardos. And we're seeing the
Oh my God.
Cyrus. Oh,
Cyrus is up. Oh wait, is the
wait.
other Darkrai? Maybe I think that's. I'm like.
I'm gonna. I don't know if I like this.
Me neither.
Because with the Rocky helmet, you are still going to be in range. For the Darkrai, unless there's another. If that last card in hand is Cyrus, then my opinions change completely.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
we will have to see, of course.
We'll have to see what they decide to do next turn, but this
No,
Darkrai
yeah.
is like
It
safe
should be
from.
noted that yeah,
You go.
Azalma only plays one Cyrus,
Oh.
so um, I'm kind of confused. To be perfectly honest with you.
I feel like if we had
On
Cyrus in
play.
hand, we could have just like Cyrused up the Giratina and knocked it with the Garchomp. Not Garchomp. Yeah, the Garchomp. And then like held the
Yeah.
Rampardos in the back to deal with either of the Darkrai's.
Mm-hmm. That or even the Okay, interesting. I
I don't
like
know if
this. I like this.
I don't like this. I definitively don't.
Now
Definitively
you're
don't.
losing. You lose to Lily now.
You just
it could be a
lose
tie.
now, right? Because he just
Yeah.
comes up and does 130. Oh,
Well,
well,
no, that's not enough.
okay. Not enough,
I do
yeah.
think there's been a lot of interesting plays made on both sides. I think that the
Here's
yeah,
Lily.
like the Lily is gonna put this at 140. We can legitimately see a tie. Actually, we can't see a tie because the way that this is, like the position, both lilies have been used. The giant cape has been used. All you have to do if you are easy on MB is just slow the game down. You just need one Darkrai ping. You bring in that back fully healthy Garantina, uh, and it's looking like a GG situation. This is just some very interesting pocket, and I'm kind of stressed. I don't even know who wins here.
And Azelma
Uh,
needs to find another basic for the bench as well, so that it is a tie.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So it looks like we're touching.
Are they just forced? Okay. What would happen if you tie? Is it game 3 right now?
It's game 3, so they'd go
Or-
to sudden death.
Oh my gosh, how does sudden death work in
The
Pocket?
sudden
I've
death,
never.
how we do it in Pocket is you go into a new game and whoever takes the first point wins.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's as close as we can try to do to like the physical card game, because in sudden death in the physical card game, basically I don't. Oh,
I think we're getting sudden death. Um,
what?
I.
Oh no! I need my
This
judges.
is like I said. There's been some very interesting plays to lead here, but I think it's important to note that we are in top 64, right? We are playing for that big prize. And I think that like it gets stressful, right? You make plays that aren't optimal, and it's easy to like be on the outside looking in and being like, "Oh, they misplayed, they misclicked, yada yada yada." But it's hard, and they worked hard to get here. So very unfortunate, that some of these plays weren't the strongest. But we are getting to a sudden death. Whew.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Is
really interesting.
How many sudden deaths have you had?
I think this is our
in
second.
Ursiiday?
This is our second.
Are s-
The other one wasn't
You're
on
so-
stream. uh,
Well, I'm happy to be a part of Ursiiday history, the first streamed sudden death.
I feel like the other one you might have been my co-caster for, by the way, when I was just like, so this just happened in the background.
Oh my gosh.
So okay,
Yeah.
so in Pokemon Pocket, not Pokemon Pocket, the physical Pokemon Pocket, normally Pokemon that have big butts and can attack quickly are the ones that do better in sudden death. Because you'll
So
like,
basically Rampardos, right?
well, no, I'm wondering if it's Giratina, Darkrai Giratina,
Ooh.
because you don't have to evolve.
That's true.
But
But
I
I feel
guess-
like, yeah. Oh, you go.
I was actually going to ask you what you think with that idea would be the better of the two in this situation.
So my thought is, because you are such a fast attacking team, in Rampardos and Gibble, if you luck sack, right? If you wear candy into your win condition, you can just steal this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So very interesting to see what happens, right? I think that Garantina Darkrai is a deck that is slow to start, and Rampardos Garchomp is a deck that goes at like 100 miles an hour.
That is
So
true on the Rampardos especially. Yeah, like because like Giratina here doesn't get knocked out too fast normally. Right? Like the Cape could even protect against. I mean, I guess Cape kind of. It is only 130, but you know what I mean. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, like normally in the physical card game, you'll have like the deck that really needs to set up, which is the one that has the baby basics, like the Garchomp, versus like big basics that attack fast, but they give like 2 to 3 points as similar to this, right? So
yeah,
you go to sudden death and suddenly it's a whole different game.
yeah. No, I just feel like if I'm easy, I'm so frustrated because like I feel like you watching a guaranteed win slip away, uh, it sucks. There's
Yeah,
no better word for it. It sucks.
for sure.
But you have to play through it, right? And I think that like this is a very good play by Zelma. They put the cape on the fossil, and that's just basically saying, hey, I have 3 cards in hand. I'm basically, if you red card me, you're red carding me for 3 cards. It's like you don't get anything out of it. So it's very, very interesting to see how they end up approaching this.
Yeah, let's see. It looks like we do have Cape, and we had Potion. So they're trying to keep it full health.
Yeah.
But if we use these hills too early as well, I worry a little bit. Like, right, you like hit the Garchomp, it's not gonna get one shot. It can ping something to Cyrus up that is in range of a Rampardos.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. But that is a lot of cards, right?
Yeah.
Right now, Azelma only has 3 cards. In order to do that, you need Rare Candy, Garchomp, or Rare Candy, Rampardos, and that is a lot of cards. That's 4 cards. So we will see what happens. They're gonna Iono for 3. Anything can happen here. Oh my god, big boy. Okay, a Cranidos is coming up. And a Rare Candy!
Ooh.
What an Iono!
Wait. Oh. His Garchomp's
God.
here. All we need to hit is the Rampardos and the Cyrus, but you know what I'm saying. Okay.
Oh, and they're targeting the back. Oh, I'm so stressed out.
Yeah, I think in real sudden death, like it's like in person, they don't put prize cards out.
Oh, I guess that makes sense because it's only 1 knockout,
Because
right?
you're not
There's no
doing for
prizes.
points. You're just doing for the first knockout. I could be wrong on that. People could like correct me on that. I don't think they put so like other win cons don't matter.
Yeah. So this is just like basically like
It's a pocket game almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pocket game.
But for like first to 3 knockouts to some extent. So we have the Bellow. It's gonna be officially a fully set up Giratina. We do need Leaf, but as long as we have Leaf, an attachment to a Darkrai here, never mind.
The Lily. Oh my god.
That keeps us from being knocked out next turn.
It does. Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh.
What a top deck. Like I said, I'm just like so stressed out for both players.
Arcorio comes out. Quickly retreat to Arcorio. But it doesn't work because Garchomp
no. The Leaf is coming out. There are a few cards I would like to talk about that saves Azelma in this situation. Because Azelma is now poised to lose. It's not over though. And I would like to talk about some of them. One is a Cyrus. You win with Cyrus. 2 is Rampardos. So there's 3 cards right now in Azelma's deck. Also hasn't drawn a single Professor's Research. So there's 5 cards in this deck that Azelma can draw right now. And it's the Rampardos!
Oh god. Well, we hit the Rampardos. And that's going to be a win for Azelma. Azelma's going to match up against grass type Greninja Giratina.
Yeah. Which, if you think about it, a grass type Greninja Giratina deck would hit both of these decks are super effective.
Yeah, that's what I was actually
so very
thinking.
interesting to see.
We'll have to see how it goes, yeah. That was
Yeah.
so close. That was actually really hype. I'm glad we got to watch that on stream.
Yeah. What? That was like the Lily was the perfect top deck into the Rampardos. Like that's what this meta is about sometimes. What a match. What a end. And I'm happy that we got to cast it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm really happy that we got to watch that one. We are going to be going. So it looks like there's 2 games still playing. They're both in their game
Oh
3.
my gosh. Yeah,
One
there is.
finished 20 minutes
There's one
ago, but the other finished 2 minutes ago.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
we
And
can
one
go
Mm-hmm.
hop into the one that finished 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, tell me what thingy is it?
Do you prefer Snorlax in your Giratina Greninja, or do you prefer Darkrai in your Giratina Greninja?
Well, I'm a Darkrai Tina lover, but we just looked at a Darkrai Tina. Let's look at a Snorlax Garantina.
Okay, so let's go check out 37.
37.
I'm sure you never expected it to be a Giratina with Greninja versus the other one, but here we are.
Yeah. And we're here. Looks like there is it's basically turn 2. The Garantina on the Darkrai side just attached. We don't know if they have Darkrai. If they have Darkrai in hand, this would be a very good start. But it should be noted that Garantina Lax is running Psychic Energy, so they'll be able to attack really, really quickly. It looks like they've used both Professor's researches. So there is the Darkrai Tina player has basically drawn through their entire deck. That's a lot of cards.
Okay, let's see here. Kind of cool how they have the list up in the top corner. I don't even know how they have that up
Yeah,
there.
that's really smart to do. I mean, at the end of the day, Pocket is a mobile game, right? So most people are mobile gamers. Not everyone is gonna be sitting at their laptop when they play these tournaments. It's important you can play these tournaments from anywhere.
Yeah.
I was playing Ursiiday as I made day 2. I was playing it in like a car ride.
No.
So
Well, last night I was
very
playing.
mobile game.
I was playing it at a dinner table. Like we went out to eat. I went out to eat, and the lady who like brings your food to the table, she came up. She was like, "Oh wait, I remember you. You're playing that Pokemon game again." I was like, "Bro, how much Pokemon do I play at dinner?" Thank you. Yeah,
You know what? We love when you support the same restaurant twice, but I do think it's funny to be clocked like that.
Yeah, no. I went to, it was like I think like Miller's or something like that. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about the being clocked for playing Pokemon Pocket at it twice in like a week or something. But
Why? Oh my god.
it's okay. You're playing that Pokemon game again. Like, I'm sorry. I want to rank up.
Oof, this is very interesting situation. It looks like it's all favored for the Darkrai Tina. It should be noted that the Garantina Greninja player has a noticeable lack of Greninja. Well, they have a
They're
Greninja,
both
but not a
Garantina
Furky.
Greninjas, by the way. Nobody has the
So this is
Froakies
looking-
today.
Yeah, I think that was a very interesting play though by the topside player, because they have chosen to attach to the Darkrai, but they could have had a guaranteed KO with Darkrai Garantina if you attach to the Garantina. But maybe this reveals what they have in the hand. Might just be strong enough to win this game.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. It's kind of too bad that we don't have a different Pokemon that we could switch in and attack with. Because you definitely don't want to, be going directly into a Darkrai who can knock you out.
It just looks like a very unfortunate start for the Giralax player, for Binka. And one of the problems with the deck is like the Snorlax energy cost, right? Like Snorlax takes 4 to retreat, Giratina takes 2 to retreat, right? So like we're playing these cards that are basically stuck in the active, and it's already looking like it's all Kato here.
Yeah, it does seem like Kato's got a really strong position here. They're going to retreat back and knock out 2 points for Kato, but yeah, chat pointed out that what you're saying is guaranteeing, like a guarantee, and now my brain is stuck on it. I'm having a little bit of a like a wait.
I think it's funny because we say this. You say like Solgaleo differently, and I say Garantina differently, and I'm not trying it. Okay, I'm gonna lock it.
No, I think it's funny because a lot of people say Giratina is guaranteed. Get it? Like you guaranteed win.
Yeah, you see, that's exactly why I say it, and not because I just truly believe in my heart and soul that it's
the best deck.
Garantina. It is so unfortunate though that the Binka could not find the guy whose name I'm forgetting. Froakie. They have the rare candy, they have the Greninja, but without a Froakie start, this deck is not gonna beat Darkrai Tina, and we're already seeing Darkrai Tina just take the lead. I think the most interesting thing is that there's a Froakie on the bench. Did you happen to see what won Godsley's tournament?
I did not check last night. I saw it ended really late. But...
Yes, that it did. Basically what ended up winning was Darkrai Garantina, but with Komala. And so we're already seeing Darkrai Tina players tech different Pokemon besides Darkrai Tina to affect different matchups, whether it's like Drampa. We noticed that Kato is using Froakie, which means they have Greninja in their deck. And it's very cool that like one of the things that Darkrai Garantina have, right, is that they're just like so consistent, and like if they ever have a bad matchup, they can just add a card to fix it, and that's literally all they're doing right now.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be game 3 for them there. I'm gonna double check on the other one. Yeah, all of our top 64 should be done once that says it's done in the back end. But yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I kind of like though that they have to tech now. Like Kamala, obviously very good for Oricorio. Literally one shot to Oricorio minus cape. Obviously it has its drawbacks, things like that. But even I think like the Greninja is really interesting to me because we're kind of seeing how strong Greninja is this set, it feels like, right? Like there's so much Giratina Greninja, and in this case, it's like, why not just add it to your Darkrai?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think that Greninja might just be the best card to come out of Genetic Apex, right? Our base set. It is so splashable, like, and Rare Candy, I think it's the biggest winner of Rare Candy. There's a reason why we're seeing Garantina Greninja in like every deck. Because of its like flexibility, and I love that. And we are finally into top 32. Obviously, big congrats to every player that's been playing. Big congrats to people that support our grassroots tournament scenes. I know that ranked took a hit, right? But like we're still hitting. Like this tournament had like over 900 players. Like you guys are ridiculous.
No, I absolutely love it. Like the competitive scene for Pokemon Pocket has been so strong, and I think like while ranked does take players out of like the grassroots tournament scene at times, together it's just going to be like, I'm going to say win because I'm manifesting. When we get an official circuit, both groups are going to be able to come together, you know? Like I will admit, like sometimes I'll like play some of these like random tournaments, and sometimes right now it feels like the first couple rounds of the tournament has more random decks in it than rank does. You know, like rank does feel like and so I think what I'm trying to say is like both have their pros and cons, and together when we get an official scene, it is going to be
Yeah.
so awesome. Both groups are going to come together, and I think they really complement each other well. Like we have obviously the people who've been playing a lot of competitive, doing well in ranked, which shows the viability of the competitive scene, right? Because like
Mm-hmm.
you've done so well in the tournament scenes, and you did so well in ranked as well. Then we have players who are learning on ranked, coming into the tournament scene. It's just going to be so together. I mean, so good all together, and so I'm really, really excited to see how it all converges. And hopefully
Yeah.
next week in the 10K, we'll see that as well.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. Ranked obviously has a uh really cool dichotomy with tournament play. I think one of the reasons why you say you see so much random stuff early, the difference of ranked and tournament play is that tournaments are open to players of all ranks.
Yep.
You don't need to be Master Ball to enter an Ursiiday tournament. Uh, Similarly, right? You don't need to. And I think like what one of the problems that rank suffers is like towards the topic it's very homogenized. People want to win, so they're gonna use the sweatiest best decks. So we don't see decks like this player that's in day two using Banette Mew, or the guy with Garantina, Greninja, and all the grass types. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah, well, let's hop to channel 7 real quick. We can keep up the conversation
Yeah,
there. But
of course.
yeah, I think there's like pros and cons definitely with how like the ranked scene is like set up. Like I to some extent like the fact that I can't run, or not can't, but very more rarely run into these random decks. I remember I was like pushing top 10K the last night.
Mm-hmm.
The last night, like the last 2 hours, I did not go against a single normal deck that I had seen the entire thing, and I was raging. I was like, how, like, come on, bro, like, please, like,
Yeah.
please, like, don't do this to me. Like if you were just like a normal deck, not running this random stuff, we wouldn't have this problem right now. But at the same time, like you do want to see like people be able to try out decks at this, and so it's like a pros and cons, I guess, to like both sides of it. But yeah, we're gonna have Rin Diaz at the bottom, and then a Zelma at the top.
Yeah, which obviously we did see a Zelma in that sudden death game. So it's very, very cool to, see them again. And of course, they're playing against a Garantina Greninja grass box, right? How many times do we get to see Scyther over here?
I'd be okay never seeing him, but yeah, no, I actually do agree. It's kind of crazy to see the grass deck working well. But it is also really interesting. Like, obviously, it's got a lot of good matchups, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing it, right? Even on ranked afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
well, there's Rampardos.
There's Rampardos. No,
There's
they're
Rampardos.
really hovering over to concede. No. Yeah, that's the meta game sometimes. May the first rare candy be with you is kind of what ends up happening. What an unfortunate start here.
Mega unfortunate, but we'll see if they can come back from it. I'm not really sure they'll be able to, but
let's see. All things are possible through Iona, which I think you need to at this point.
This is their first Garchomp EX Rampardos list that they've gone against.
Okay. Pokeball. Tapu Bulu's here. But it does require 3 energy. So I don't... It's just looking incredibly rough. I don't know what you're supposed to do. As, as our hero here, our grass hero Rindis.
Yeah, but I think that kind of shows you the strength as well of like that grass type Gibble. This is something like we are seeing like a lot of people like a little bit confused with even. Like I played Garchomp a bit and people were like, why aren't you running the fighting type one, or even like through the tournament this like whole last week people were like, well, it's not different. Oh no, it's different. If you go against the grass deck, it's very different,
Yeah.
And so it is really interesting to see, but it does look like Brindius is going to get a little bit, outsped here by the Rampardos.
Unfortunately, outsped here. But that is just again the speed of this deck, right? One of the reasons why someone want to use a deck like Solgaleo, why they would want to use a deck like Garchomp, is how quickly you can pop off. And with the rare candy meta, right? They're popping off at speeds that we haven't seen before, and it is already looking like a done deal game.
For sure. Cavalier does a lot of damage, but it takes a lot of energies for the 0 ramp deck.
Yeah. I don't know, like looking at Rin's deck list, I don't know what they can have that can like potentially save them at this point. It would have to be a like Delmise with like rare candy, but it's just too many cards. The Garchomp player is too fast. Hopefully, we get to like Rin's luck changes a bit in that game too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how game 2 will end up here, because obviously very early Rampardos did a lot of great things for Zelma, but that being said, could still be the case with Garchomp. It is the first Garchomp Rin has gone against.
Yeah, it is important to note, right, that one of the reasons why Red Card and Mars is so prevalent is because we need to stop decks that can rare candy out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And both players, since they are decks that are trying to rare candy running Iono, so Iono is the only form of disruption. But Iono is also kind of like a little bit of gambling at times, right? Will Iono actually help you? Will it not? So very interesting to see what ends up coming out of this one.
Let's check it out. And we are starting on, well, we're about to be starting our game 2 here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let them.
I think. Yep. Let them do their attachments or their placements.
Exactly.
Obviously, they were probably figuring out between Froakie or Garantino which one was more important. And they're going with Froakie.
I can see that being the correct choice because you're like trying to power up. And you need multiple turns, especially if you're not running psychic energies, to get that Giratina online.
Yes, I think it is also important just to note that if Gibble does 20 to Garantina, we are unfortunately going to see a Garantina that is in range to be KO'd. And of course, you never want to see that.
Yeah, that's always very tragic.
Okay. Holding the Scyther in hand, I wonder what their play might be. Oh, yeah. I think I would attach to the front just so that I have the option to retreat, but let's see what they end up doing.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea just to attach it for the option retreat. You can also swing if you want, but you obviously don't want to while you're trying to set up with the bellow.
Yeah, and I think that like right now the win condition is obviously take a KO somewhere. I'll have the Garantina eventually take a KO. And of course, to do that, you have to get there. And we're already seeing the Cranidos and the Gabite. Azelma is on a roll with their starts. Oh my gosh. And the Giants Cape for fun, because, like, why not?
100%. To note, Rin's not running Red Card or Mars, and we mentioned that a little bit earlier, but they, by slotting in 5 grass Pokemon, there's just not the space for it, I guess.
That is one of the biggest problems is finding space for cards, but noted that now that it's a Gabite, it does carry a weakness to grass. So very interested to see what we do. They're hovering over an Iono. Maybe they're just trying to get the Greninja. They're kind of identifying, I win this game by getting Greninja. And that's all you have to do. You have to also assume that Azalma probably has everything in hand at this point.
Yeah. Because I don't know.
Okay.
So,
the
I mean,
Iono is coming.
They don't have it. They may very well.
No, they traded 2 rare candies for Greninjas now. And they get the Scyther back.
I mean, at least maybe Scyther attacks here for, like, Oh no, we're not attacking with Scyther. I was gonna say at least it would attack for 50 here, but seems like that's not in our
choosing
gameplay.
not to. This feels really, really stressful for our hero over here, our grass guy. You know, sometimes I think one of the hardest things in Pocket, even though it's like 20 card deck, you're like, oh, like you won't brick, right? But when you're running no stage ones or no Frogadiers are in the deck, you are relying on seeing Iono and you're relying on seeing Greninja, and it is inherently inconsistent. Like Azelma, on the other hand, is running a one copy of Cranidos, running a one copy of Gabite, and because of that, they're able to see more consistently the main guys that they need, right? Of course, though, as I speak, we do get to see the Greninja finally online.
Yep, Greninja's finally online, able to ping some of the Pokemon on Zelma's side. But yeah, I definitely like you add rare candy, like okay, this is gonna get more consistent, especially because there's only 20 cards in the deck. But to some extent, I feel like if you're not running like the stage one, it doesn't become inherently more consistent because you are relying on having both cards in your hand at the same time, whereas like a stage one does not have to be at the same time. But if you pair it with it, then like you can, like Azelma is essentially running like a 2-3-2 line of Garchomp. Or you know, a 2-3-2 line of Rampardos. Because that rare candy can pose as a stage one. So it is really interesting to see how, you know, different players decide to play different lines. Obviously, it hasn't affected Rin too bad during day one, but day two, it seems like it posed some problems.
And I think right now we're seeing a very interesting scenario where we do see that there's a PCL, Pokemon Center Lady, in their hand. Do they Pokemon Center Lady the Scyther so that it is able to take a Gabite hit, or do they bring in this Garantina right now, go guns blazing if they have a Cyrus, right? Lots and lots of decisions to make. What would you do in this situation?
I feel like the only out you lose right now could be that Garchomp. Not Garchomp, sorry. Rampardos. So maybe you go straight for the Rampardos here. Because he's at 130 right now. You can knock him out. And Max, the gear. Oh my god, Max, the Garchomp is going to do to you is 100 next year. So.
Yeah, you're so fine. Double G's. I get you, but we are seeing exactly what you laid out there. They are recognizing that they should prioritize this there's a timer. Did we not recognize the timer they need to attack?
Oh, I didn't notice the timer. Uh-oh.
Oh, they got it.
Oh.
They got it off. Oh my god, I was stressed for them.
But yeah, no, swear it's gotten shorter. It's not, but
yeah, I feels that way sometimes. I wish that you can see it on screen at all times, but you can't. And when you see it, I just get so stressed out. I'm not even playing, and I was stressed out for our opponent here. But this is still a very interesting situation. We're not seeing a Garchomp.
yeah,
It's
still
very
no
huge
Garchomp.
miss.
Ouch.
Oh.
To note though, since Azal does have, you know, we have to go through 2 stage ones, not 2 stage ones, 2 1-point Pokemon. It's gonna take some time, and Azelma could very well find the Garchomp and could already have candy in hand.
That is true. That is true. They might have candy. What we know for sure is that they do not have Garchomp. So if this top deck is a Garchomp, this can be the what Rin or what Azelma needs. And as we saw last time, right? They top decked Lily into Cyrus. Their Arceus kind of favors them at the moment. So let's see what ends up happening here.
Let's see. I think that's a concede. I think that's a concede.
We got the concede, and we're going into a game 3. Again, it does seem the most important card in this matchup for Rin, besides the Giratina sweeping, is if you're getting Greninja. If you get Greninja early enough, the game becomes so much easier, right? You can one-shot Rampardos with Giratina. with a 20 ping with Cyrus. You can put everything in range, but you have to find it. And I think that's the hardest part of this matchup so far is finding the cards you need, right?
Yeah, 100%. And let's see if they'll be able to find their cards in game 3, because what they decide to do here will put them into top 16. Or won't.
Yeah. Or won't.
Or won't. But we'll
And we are
see.
seeing a Scyther start immediately with the Giratina going second. Means that you can attack basically immediately. But of course, this is a battle of, do you see that? Do you see the Froakie? Do you see the Greninja? On the Zelma side, do you see the Garchomp? Do you see the Rare Candy? So we'll have to see, right? You see the Shaman.
Let's see. It's a whole new type of what's that Pokemon? Where's that Pokemon?
Where that can be a segment for the 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 10K tour. Where's that Pokemon? It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah, where's the Garchomp? I've seen some like where people have like puzzles of like TCG. How do you hit this, or what's your like probability of hitting this out, or the outs that you need?
Really?
Yeah, there's like some interesting ones, but I'm still like debating how much, like how to do those for Pocket if you decided to do those.
All right, we are seeing Professor's research from Azelma. If they draw Rare Candy into Garchomp, we're looking at a game that can be very different. Otherwise, this Gibble is in range without Giant's Cape, or without an evolution, right? Well, there's the Giant's Cape.
Okay.
Froakie.
That's Froakie.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll find a Candy and Greninja this game.
I do want to say that because they are playing Shaman, and Grass Energy, we can see like a world's first Shaman attacking that matters.
That could be very interesting, actually.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're seeing an Iono. It looks like Azelma's luck might have run out, but Iono is a luck changer. So let's see what ends up happening here. Getting and attaching to back. Interesting.
Attaching to bat kind of tells me that they may have Garchomp and they're just getting, they just don't care about the front one anymore.
Yeah, I have to agree with you here, but there is very interesting stuff. There is another Iono in the hand of Rin, so we're about to see an Iono circus kind of happen.
I'm interested to see if it'll get played.
Yeah, so there's a few decisions, right, and why it's not getting played. Is because if you play that Giant's Cape that Rin's deciding on, you get one less card from Iono, right?
Yep.
And you're basically gambling to find a Rare Candy plus a Greninja. The second Iono has hit, we see the Giant's Cape back, and we see nothing. Ooh. Okay.
I'm gonna check one thing because I just thought of it. Does Rin have space for a communicator? But he doesn't. I was thinking we could communicate whatever we Pokeballed. It could still potentially have been a Greninja. We don't have the space for that.
Right. No, not have the space. 20 card decks, right? This game is brutal. I like that.
For sure.
10
seconds.
There's running out of time. 10 seconds again.
Cape just get
They're
attached.
going to attach. Can they get the attack off in 3, 2, 1?
Oh, we got it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord. Sometimes... Let's see. 0.1 for Rin. But do we have the Garchomp? This could be a big moment.
Yeah. it is important to note that Garchomp is a 2-prizer. So if we end up seeing a Garchomp, the game can end up becoming a... Oh, the Garchomp is here! And the rare candy! The Rampardos is also here!
Okay.
Oh my gosh, hold up. This game has
What
changed.
just happened? And we haven't taken a single turn to power up our Giratina, even though it's been down since turn 1, which could have a problem here, but we are going to swing for, what is it? I actually don't know how much Shaman attacks for.
30. It attacks for 30, so
50
technically
here.
it can do 50.
Which means if they only have potion, then okay, there's
finally the rare candy. There's the... Oh my god,
Would you put Ori down here?
Ori, because you might end up retreating. You might end up retreating off of this. So let's see what ends up happening. What they end up doing.
I was thinking we were gonna go a different route, but I think my route was not possible. I was thinking you ping the Rampardos, you attack for 50 into Rampardos, which is because type advantage. That puts him down to 30. He has to heal. So he heals up 60 with Lily. Let's say he hits it. Goes down to 40. He would be in range of like a Froakie and a ping from a Greninja. But we don't have Froakie.
That is true. We do not have Froakie.
But there was a Froakie
and
when
also,
I was thinking it.
Yeah, you're fine.
Because we didn't have a Greninja.
I think you have to retreat here. Oh, they're going to straight attack. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I guess this also works.
Lily.
The Lily, unfortunately, stopping this game plan from actually working. I think that this had to be a Garantina. I think the better play was to switch into Oricorio, have Oricorio take the hit, bring in Garantina, keep pinging down the Garchomp in the back, because you win in 3, right? And I do think that this was unfortunate, right? I think...
But Giratina wouldn't survive, right? If you continue, if you were put in the active, because you would be giving them like 2 to 3 turns to find Lily in that case, because he doesn't have the recoil until he knocks out.
That is true.
Then you could still retreat again because you have extra energies, but
yeah, I'm glad we were able to catch the deck, but it looks like, unfortunately, in the face of overwhelming offense, and the Iono Fest that we had, the game was pretty dictated on who can, draw into their Greninja combo or their Garchomp combo first. And it is going to be Azelma was able to put on the pressure, got Rampardos, got Garchomp, and got this win.
Yeah, 100%. And great job by Ran for making such a really creative deck as well. And they brought it all the way up into the top 32, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And I think that, can you cook in this meta? The answer is yes, you can, and yes, you should, right? There's so many cool ways to build decks. It doesn't matter if it's not the tier 1 best deck. This deck made top 32 in an over 900-person tournament. That's extremely impressive to me.
Extremely impressive for sure. I'm gonna check to see
what
the other games still going. There's one 7 minutes into their game, and there's one. Wait, what? Only in their game 1.
Oh, there's one in the game 1?
I mean, in game 2. They're only in game 2. My bad.
Oh yeah. Is it Pipito versus Zverum?
Yes. It's it's Oricorio and Shaman with the Greninja, Giratina.
Yep.
Or
that's
just Darkrai,
number 4.
Giratina. 4? Let's do it.
Yep.
I'll get there in a second when I find it. It took me a second, but I got to number 4.
No, you're good. It looks like we are deep in game 2. Verum needs one more point to win, and they are about to get it. It looks like this is just
2-0 then.
GG's. The on the side of Verum, they do not have really anything, and we are just about to see the game end. They have 1 point, so they probably KO'd a Greninja at one point, but or a Oricorio. But it is just rough. This matchup, I should note, is one of the hardest matchups for Darkrai. The reason why you play Oricorio Greninja is so that you have a relatively easy going time against this. And even though it's a very long set, Z Verum is getting a very clean and looks like commanding 2-0.
Yeah, very clean 2-0. I'm gonna let them finish the game out. They'll be going to our top 16, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Is that the last game too?
Of top 32. Yep. So we're gonna get to look for our next game. Words that I can't think of.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool decks in this top 16. Quite a few Arceuses, MST as well. Love them.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So much. They've been streaming a lot. But we also have a Magnazone Oricorio that managed to make it. We have an Aerodactyl Rampardos that managed to sneak into the top 16.
I feel like we have to watch them.
Yeah. We have to. Cobb Weaver. They're playing Aerodactyl Rampardos Lycanroc. And they're up against Dilush.
Very interesting.
Cobb Weber. That's going to be.
They have not finished putting their room numbers in.
Okay.
I do spot them.
They are 56 though. For
you wanna hop into 56 then? In 2 seconds? Yep.
Yep.
Coolio, I'll let them know they can start and we'll hop over. I will see you there. Okay, our server deafened, and I'll bring their game up. We are officially into the top 16. Aerodactyl is such an interesting choice in this meta, I feel like, because it does stop rare candies.
Yeah. So this is a interesting take on the Lycanroc deck. Lycanroc is a deck that I felt was like extremely strong week 1. Rockruff essentially has the same ability as Sprigatito, except for any grass type. It's specifically only things that evolve from Rockruff, so Lycanroc. It grabs your Lycanroc, and you just have a guaranteed attack the next turn. And usually that's going to be paired with Rampardos. We are seeing this deck have that Rampardos pairing, but they took it a step above and added Aerodactyl. Which has the ability that you can't evolve in the active slot, but is also dealing 80. So it's a very interesting deck list. It's one that I honestly have not seen before.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Lycanroc is such a fast deck. I really did like it. I hope that the Aerodactyl doesn't make it too inconsistent, since it's like a whole extra fossil you also have to find.
That is true, but it is a mon that doesn't need to be rare candied, so we will see. And of course, we have Dilush with Arceus Crobat. This is kind of, I feel like this deck is the strongest deck asterisk. And the asterisk is if you hit everything. It's the strongest deck if you hit Carnivine, Crobat, Arceus on turn 1. If you can do that every game, you just have the best deck. But of course, card games don't work that way. So let's see how this ends up going.
Yeah, you know, sometimes people play the game thinking that it is how it'll go, and then I have a lot of fun watching my opponent not hit their Arceus. And what?
Yeah, and that's, look, this is a Zubat start. It should be noted that Crobat is a Pokemon that has 0 retreat. So a Crobat start doesn't really mean anything yet.
Yeah, it doesn't, and also they definitely wanted to start with Carnivine. 100%.
Yes. Yeah,
That being said,
100%.
they could still attack with it if next turn they hit a Candy Crobat. It has free retreat, so it could retreat back into Carnivine.
Yeah, it should be noted that Cobb does have Lycanroc in hand, so you can't even use your Signs of Evolution to thin your deck. They drew a rare candy, but no fossils to be played. This could be dangerous.
Ooh, but no Carnivine. The attachment goes on to Arceus, so we know we're safe for a turn. But we are gonna be more health than the Zubat, but Zubat's only 50 health, so maybe it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
What an interesting hand though from Cobb, right? Cobb has, I think, probably the most goofiest hand in all of Pokemon Pocket right now. 2 rare candies, an Aerodactyl, and a Rampardos. One of the things I guess that people don't realize in Pokemon Pocket is you're guaranteed to start a basic. So by playing only one Rockruff, you're guaranteed to see that Rockruff, but you're not guaranteed to see these fossils. And so you do have to draw these fossils, and he has every single piece needed to win the game, but the piece needed to win the game. So it's a very interesting situation to be in.
Yeah, I think this next turn is when it's really going to matter though, because now we suddenly have a free energy, minus if they hit like everything. But Crobat at least can not attack because we need dark energy. But next energy, it would start losing energies, not to hit.
Yeah, it is important to note that there is one Sabrina in Dilucia's deck, and we see the Skull Fossil. This could be the game winner right here. Oh!
Wait.
Oh my gosh!
Type? I didn't.
Typing. I forgot.
Like, I didn't know that it was weak to fighting.
Oh my gosh! This is a Sabrina game now. It's either you have Sabrina or you don't have Sabrina. Very excited to see. We might see Cobb. Sabrina.
They have Sabrina. We don't have red, but these are only 1-pointers. We could run into another Skull Fossil. It's still a possibility.
That is true. It is a possibility. A Skull Fossil is good. Not just a Skull Fossil, but the other fossil, Old Amber. Yeah. So there's 3 cards that you want to see. You see a Professor's Research.
Even if we hit a red,
research a win condition.
Oh.
Okay. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And because you know, even if this was a Rocky Helmet, because they have no bench, they'll still lose. But such a close game. Such a close game. I think that my mind has shifted now that I know that Crobat is weak to fighting. I think that's just like something that hasn't come up for me at all. But yeah. How are you? What do you think? How are you feeling about this matchup in general?
I think it's really interesting. I just wish there was a red. Wait, am I on the wrong list? I think I'm on the wrong list. Is there a red on Cobb's list? There's not. I was hoping there was gonna be a red. The red could still finish off the Arceus.
That is true, but remember, 20 card decks, right? You're already running Aerodactyl.
We're running 2 Aerodactyl though. We're running 2 Aerodactyl just to, just saying. It's a lot of Aerodactyl.
That's a lot of Aerodactyls, right? 2 Aerodactyls and 2 Old Embers. You're running 5 of the Rampardos line, plus the Rockruff Lycanroc. That's 2. We're about to learn to do math right now. 2 plus 5, 4 plus 5 plus 2. That's 11 cards. Plus Professor's Research. That's 13 cards in your deck. That's already decided. It's plus 2 rare candy. Hold up. Oh my gosh. That's so many cards that you have to run.
Let's see here.
Commentators do math compilation. Ooh.
Surely it'll be fine. We know how to. Oh, Carnivine comes down. Carnivine can one-shot the Rockruff. Unless we hit a cape. But we have fossil.
And we do have the fossil this time though. And speak of the cape, and it shall appear. However, This is extremely stressful situation to be in. Uh, if you are Cobb, right? Cobb Weaver, because if you like, you are basically losing your Rockruff. Scratch that. You're basically losing your your Skull Fossil.
Huh. Interesting choice. I am confused, but he's Sabrina, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I just like blanked on the Sabrina.
Yeah, no, this is important. I think you ask yourself which one's more scarier, right?
Yeah.
And there's a very clear answer.
Oh, yeah.
What is scarier is always going to be that Arceus, or not the Arceus, the Rampardos. So nip the problem at the bud, right?
100%.
And that's exactly.
Especially because Lycanroc can't one-shot Carnivine.
Yeah.
Because at 80 health, there's, unless they like attack, if they attack the Rockruff, it can one-shot them. If they don't attack the Rockruff, it doesn't one-shot them.
That's true. And a very interesting play there. I actually did not like that Iono, because if you Ionoed into Lycanroc, you end up losing the search.
Yeah.
But of course, sometimes you feel that need to draw into your pieces because you can just lose this game. It should also be noted that Diluge had a really slow start. And in so doing this, you just Iono them into the perfect start. It looks like there's, honestly, I don't see a way for you to win this right now if you are Cobweaver, unless you do draw a fossil. It is really rough. I think that if we waited a turn for that Iono, we might have been in a different future. But this is one where Arceus, Crobat, Dilush will advance.
Yeah, it looks like Dilush is gonna, be able to take the game here. Carnivine will finish off the Lycanroc, and with no more Pokemon in the bench, it's gonna go in and close out the match.
Yeah, like I said, one of the things I love about Carnivine Arceus is that it has answers into everything, right? Carnivine, famously super effective against Darkrai. 50 is a lot of damage. With Crobat, you're dealing 80, so you can one-shot basics. And Arceus just deals so much damage on its own. So we end up seeing situations like that, where, just 2 Carnivines is enough. Very unfortunate. It was extremely close to being Cobweaver's game, but Sabrina, that card from Genetic Apex, that's still one of the best cards in the game, doing so much work.
Honestly, yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
So
that was the fast one. So we have a lot of lot of games.
That's what I was just thinking, actually. It looks like this tournament definitely looks like Giratina EX Greninja's play pin, or whatever you call it. Would you rather watch Oricorio or watch the Garchomp versus Giratina Greninja?
Ooh, so we've been watching Azelma quite a bit. I would like this. I think that, I think chat is, there's a lot of people who have resentment towards Darkrai. And the Darkrai has gotten paired with a Magnazone or a Choreo list. So I guess some people can hate watch while we end up commentating that game. I would love to see James Cox versus Tomaine.
Do you have a preference on which position we watch from?
Let's watch from the position of the Oricorio player.
Okay, so we're going to hop to channel 53.
53, okay.
Okay, let's get this up. Looks like Oricorio is having some fun here.
Cannot wait. It's currently loading for me. Oh, yep, I see. It's an Oricorio party. 3 lightning energies on these Oricorios, but it should be noted that it is 2 points a piece. And if this Giratina doesn't find healing, it is looking like the win will end up being the Oricorio players to take.
Let's see, we have the game up now to watch. Yeah, it kind of seems like it may very well be. I can't see under the opponent's turn dot 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 thing up top to see how much health is on the Darkrai Giratina. But
that is true.
we normally only
it's
want
60 HP and 140.
Okay, so we could retreat back still, and I think that's what they're kind of deciding right now is if they should. The answer is probably yes.
True. Oh, and a PCL. Okay.
Okay, well you have 5 seconds. Oh, we're not retreating.
3. We can't even activate the ability. No. Oh, is unfortunate. It should be noted that James is not running any counterplay necessarily. Like there's no Kamalas, there's no Greninjas, there's no what's the other guy? There's no Drampas in this deck. So they are just running pure Darkrai Tina versus a list that's kind of designed to play into this, right? There's Guzmas, there's PCLs, and there's the Oricorios, the Menace. So lots of healing. How do you feel about Oricorio? I feel like that's like the card of the set, right? I definitely would love to hear your thoughts.
It's a really interesting card. I'm glad we have it. I really like Oricorio. I think it's a little. I can't though. I hate the decks it's in. I'm a huge Oricorio fan, and anybody watched, I made like I actually made this deck in response to Jody's tweet where he was like, watch how you can destroy Oricorio with just the pings of a Darkrai. And I was like sitting in my bathtub and I was like scrolling Twitter. I was like, I'm sorry. I guess it's true that there's only so much healing you can do with trainers, but Wigglytuff. Then I went and made this terrible Wigglytuff Oricorio list that was really, really, really fun. I was like on like a 8-win streak at one point. It was like so much fun. So I kind of made it in response to Jody, but at the same time, now that I'm playing Charizard, I pair it into like Oricorio Greninja, and I'm like, what is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you? You lose against so many different decks. What are you doing? What are you doing? You just are accepting auto losses? Hello? I get very tilted. That being said, really glad Oricorio's in the meta because we need it. But at the same time, I'm just sitting there like, bro, I hate you. I hate you. What did I unleash on this world?
You're like, I hate the way. No, I get it. I think there's no, and I think that's what I came from. I think when this meta just came out, Oricorio came out, my dislike of Oricorio came from a place of hate. I hated how good Oricorio was. I hated the way it talked. I hated the way it looked. I hated the way it moved.
I hated the way it smelled.
Yeah. And then I sat with it, and then I was like, oh, it's doing good in tournaments. It's doing good everywhere. It like does like 100-0 certain matchups. Maybe I should stop being a hater and swallow my pride. And most of my master rank climb has now been with Greninja Oricorio, so I'm a part of the problem.
Well, I feel like I had the opposite. You know, I was like, I love Oricorio. Screw you, Jody.
Yeah.
You know? And then I was like, wait, I hate this deck. What did we do? And so now I just like I sit here and I'm like, what happens if you go against the Decidueye Meowscarada, huh? Huh? You're just gonna lose?
Yeah.
You're just gonna lose? Is that all? Are you okay with that? Like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay,
I love how we've had like different trajectories.
Yeah, we have like the exact opposite. We were like two ships crossing paths in the fog, but never meeting, whatever it's called. But I'm a little bit tilted by the decks now. I like scrolled through actually the win con or the win percentages last night. I was like, you auto lose versus all the grass decks. You auto lose versus all the fighting decks. What do you even beat? And then I reached the top. It was like 80% win rate against Giratina Darkrai. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
No,
now.
You're so real about that. I do think that I don't know, it's just I just had to swallow my pride. It's just such a good deck. I just hate that it's a good deck. But it looks like getting to this gameplay, it looks like our opponent is playing Magnemite 18 trainers or 14 trainers because we do not see a single Oricorio over here, and it looks like if you don't find this Oricorio, it's looking like this game will be over in the next turn.
Yeah, it does seem that way. It does seem that way.
Oh my gosh.
That being said, very sad. I would have preferred the Oricorio be Darkrai Giratina, because if there's one deck I hate more than Oricorio, it's probably Darkrai Giratina. So, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like I hate it for me, but we need it. You know?
Yeah, no, I completely feel you. And like, you know, this is me. I would make a tweet about this right now and be like, look at this. Oricorio Magnemite sucks. It can't even beat Darktina. Look. And then like
Just a
there
little
was no
Magnemite
Oricorio to
to
be
know.
found. But it does look like this game is over.
Yeah,
And
very
we're going into
over.
game 3, right? You
Yep.
know, I guess we're both hate watching in some way.
We're both hate watching,
But
yeah.
I do agree. I think a lot of people in the community have Darkrai, Garantina fatigue, and they were like willing to kind of accept anything, right?
That's how I felt reading your
And I guess
tweets. I was
now
like, buddy, we do
we have a
not do
lot
the
of people.
Darkrai Giratina in this household.
uh, uh, and it's interesting, because the more we play and the more we like get through this, I do think that Darkrai Garantina is the best deck in the format. However, I don't think it's like what it was last set, right? Where
Yeah.
like it's like you're either playing Darkrai Garantina or you're playing Gyarados. Now it's like you can play like almost any deck and have a matchup into Darkrai Garantina. But Darkrai Garantina is still so good.
Yeah, there's like a
Oh,
weird thing though with like Darkrai Giratina as well, where sometimes like last set it felt to me right like super like skill expressive, like super skill
mm-hmm.
expressive, and I loved it for that reason. But this set I
Yeah.
don't have the same feelings with it. I'm not saying that's not skill expressive, but like
Yeah.
now there's like so many decks that sometimes it's like, okay, well you can do no matter what happens, you can ping me and retreat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm like,
I I feel you. I feel you. I do think that there's just a lot of matchups. Like there's so many more decks. I think why it feels less
100%.
like that is because where candy happens sometimes, and because there's so many red cards now. All the
Yeah,
Dark Tina plays have like Mars and red card, and you get
yeah.
hit by Mars and red card, and you're like, "Wow, I wish I was playing the game right now." But instead, I have 3 cards.
Did I have three cut? You know,
uh,
honestly, I could agree with that. Yeah. Though I will say maybe there's not. Also want less Oricorio, but James Cox has gotten this
hmm
far with not a single counter for the Oricorio matchup. And he like as in like no
Yeah.
tech like Kamala or whatever. So maybe we still need more
hmm
Oricorio.
So maybe.
Maybe we do
Well,
need
this
more
is
Oricorio.
the lone Oricorio Magnazone at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And they are getting red carded. Didn't I say? You have all these cards in hand. Nope, you have 3 now. And it's always a little bit frustrating. But that is the state of the meta right now. And I think, you know, this looks like they were able to actually, this is like a backfired red card, because we do see Tomain with everything.
Yeah.
Every single basic is now played.
Kind of interesting. Game 1 was Oricorio only. Game 2 is Magnemite only. Game 3 is everything. But I support it. I
Yeah,
support
it's
it.
a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like everyone is here, and we
Everyone
are
is
seeing
here.
an attack.
Hmm.
Interesting. Because obviously you are gonna have to eventually attack, right? Because if you don't attack, what's gonna happen is that you're going to get, you know, pinged to death. But
Yeah.
it's very. I think it is important to note that one of the biggest flaws of Oricorio is that it's a 2 energy attacker, which is not really a flaw, but it
Yeah.
is like it does take time to charge and set up. And in so doing that attack, right, you kind of are putting yourself in a very awkward situation. Oof, and a Pokeball brick. This might have been a really good red card.
Yeah, I'm interested here. Would you play your potion? Because I feel like if you play your potion, you can attack. If you don't play your potion, you cannot attack.
Yeah, uh, this is like I think because like what happens is if you attack, you're in range for now Cyrus grabs, right? You're in range
Yeah.
for Guzma. Looking at James's list, James does run Guzma. James does run Cyrus. So now there are two ways to get through this Oricorio, but at the same like in the same vein, you only need one Oricorio to win, right?
Yeah.
They are only playing one Sabrina. Oh, actually, they're playing two Sabrina.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, hold up. If they get a KO on this Oricorio, you have a new win condition where you can Sabrina attack the Magnemites.
Mhm.
So everything I just said was a lie. So it's very interesting to see what happens, and how, you know, they deal with this.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they decide to do. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess it's kind of a timer knowing that there's two Sabrinas there. Because if they can get Magnazone, it does survive a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
still a
every
lot to ask
Oricorio
for.
deck requires a finisher, right? And this finisher is Magnazone. And I think the issue with Magnazone versus Garantina, right, is finding it, right? And we are we found one of them,
We found one
which is very
Magneton.
important.
Do you need to retreat?
And they're going,
There we go.
yeah. But I will say there are two ways to kill this or feint this if they retreat. So it's either do you go down with the ship or do you attack? Um, and both have downsides, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, you're forcing supporters like Cyrus and Guzma out. The other, you're forcing cards like Sabrina out. But you do go up a prize, so it's very important to see what they end up doing, and they're gonna choose to just attack with the Oricorio.
Hey, and that's gonna be the first knockout. 2 points per domain.
Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting game, right? I think that like even though Oricorio, in theory, should beat them, right? Should end up like 9 times out of 10 winning against Darkrai Tina. Um, Darkrai Tina is a deck that just has options, has answers to everything. And one of the things is if they're not running a card like Kamala or an anti Oricorio card, they are running a bunch of tech cards, right? Double Sabrina can just straight up win this game now. Uh, but of course, a Magnazone can also straight up win this game now. So, lots of thoughts to have, and it can be anyone's game.
Yeah, it really can be still. Because Sabrina's, like you said, finish off the game here. Uh, we have a
Yep.
Sabrina of our own.
Okay. Hmm.
I'm like debating if you like hold Sabrina or you use it to force them to discard energies.
I I think that Darkrai has 140 HP. And that is less HP than Garantina. So that if you attack with 50, they would need a potion and a Giant's Cape, right, to live this next attack. Whereas if you were to then like if they switch out, you can Sabrina it back in. If you draw Magnazone, right, there's a lot of ways to win, and we are seeing that
Ooh.
Sabrina. This might be a double Sabrina win con. I will say that there's a slight misplay on the Darkrai player. You should be pinging the Oricorio.
Yeah.
Um, but this is still important, right? This unless they, yeah. This game becomes: do you draw Magnazone? If you draw Magnazone in time, you are looking at uh a winner here. Oh, a nice
Oh.
switch, actually. I did not consider that. But again, the game is still, do we get Magnazone? If we get this Magnazone, this game ends right now.
Yeah, but the thing is
Whew.
that they hit Magnazone now that the Giratina is fully powered up. You can ping and knock out it Magnazone, right? 140.
Huh.
We have
Okay,
research.
this we do have research, but if there's a Sabrina, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I think we just have to rip it.
You just have to rip it. You don't really have a choice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
5 cards in deck. There is one more Sabrina in Zoroark's deck. Oof. honestly, regardless of which player I am, I'm just stressed.
Yeah, true.
Oof, and not a Magnazone. I think one of
Oh,
the problems and why, Magnazone Oricorio has fallen out of favor, with the meta is because you have to find all these cards. It's a tough ass playing Magnemite, Magneton, Magnazone. And if we see a Sabrina, this game can end right now. And we do the
oh,
third Cyrus Sabrina, and that is how you will get out of this matchup. And unfortunately, sorry to all the hate watchers, but another Darkrai Garantina has advanced into the top 8.
I'm not biased, but not biased, but
Not biased, but
let me quickly check see if there's any other top 16 matches. Looks like there is one, but looks
there is
like
one.
game
Yeah.
2 finished 8 minutes ago. So maybe we
Okay, so
wait
we can.
that one.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's probably what is the matchup. It looks like it's Oricorio. Oh, it's Lele Greninja versus Oricorio Garantina. So that can be a long one, to be honest. So I think we could probably watch that, or we can wait. It's your call there.
We can hop over them. We can hop over them. It looks like the pin. Never mind. There's one mirror match of Darkrai Giratina left, and then that's the only Darkrai
Yep.
Giratinas left in the tournament. But
Okay, we have a pretty diverse top 8. I think it's really cool to see. I think that, like I said, this is the most said at the beginning. This is the most diverse uh top 8 that we've had. Or not top 8, but like most diverse meta.
mhm.
We are seeing a bunch of like Oricorio, like Garantina Greninjas, but within Garantina Greninja, there's different decks, right? There's the Oricorio version, there's the Lele version. There's obviously a bunch of Arceus Crobats within this top 8. And only one Darkrai Tina, and they're both poised to play against each other.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. Let's hop to channel 31, and we'll try to
Okay.
catch this next game, the last game.
Yep,
Wherever
yep.
we are.
And like I said, this is so I think the game is actually going to end. Yes, the Lele player has advanced.
Oh,
Toby using Lele. I will say I got to play 3 rounds of the Ursiiday yesterday. I went 3-0 before having to drop for my local. But the deck that I brought and the deck that I think would win the tournament is Tapu Lele. I think Tapu Lele is really, really poised. It just hit rank 1. And I'm excited that there's 2 of them, right? Toby advancing with Tapu Lele, but also MST advancing in the top 8 as well with Tapu Lele.
would you like to watch Tapu Lele for?
I would be honored. Let's see what the pairings are. MST playing Dilush, and Toby is playing an Oricorio Greninja deck. So you want to watch Oricorio Greninja versus Lele, or would you want to watch Lele versus Arceus?
Let's do Arceus. That'll be fun.
Okay, then yeah.
Let me check. We may have. I don't know what Delush's channel is. I don't remember off the top of my head. You remember?
MST, it's like I think it's like
MST is
TCG MST.
Yeah, so he's on Twitch, but I don't remember if Delush is on Twitch or we can watch.
Dilush, I think is here.
Oh, he's
right?
49.
Or they
Okay.
All right, yes, let's go there.
MST does stream though. Up to him earlier, so you guys can find him.
Said, I really think that this is one of the best decks in the meta. It is very strong right now. If you are watching this and want to sneak in rank games and you're wondering what rank deck you should use, pick up Tapu Lele before it gets really big, is what I'll say. And there's already 2 in the top 8, right? Pioneering the meta. Have you seen much Tapu Lele on ladder yet, Ursi?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Did you play much last night or find any?
So yeah, I've been climbing with it.
Oh, also
I was
you've
on a
been the
5 win
Lele
streak.
on the
I've been the
ladder.
Lele. Like I said, I think that Lele is extremely strong. I think that this deck is, like I said, one of the best decks to use right now if you're trying to sneak in games before people understand what Lele does. Now's the time because we already have 2 in top 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the word is out there. Also, the person that hit rank 1 recently also is using Lele. So I think it's like very cool to see it top the meta. I will say playing against Charizard is extremely annoying. So you can farm all the new Lele players as Charizard.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, I'll just farm you guys. It'll be fine. That's fine with me. I figured out the Crobat matchup. I can figure out the Lele matchup. It'll be fine.
Easily.
I'll just learn to farm you guys. You just swing for what 100 into my Charizard. We're fine.
Yeah, you're so fine because they have to do that, and then you Lily, and then they cry. That's happened to me 3 times today. I got lilied and then cried.
Oh no. Lily and cry is the worst.
And it's so funny because like you're playing against a player with Lily, right? Or anytime you play stage 2 and you're like they're finally in damage range, they only have 1 card in hand. As long as it's not Lily, I win this game. And then your heart drops as the Lily drops. And maybe you are on the other end, right? Where you're like, all I need is Lily to win this game, and then you draw the Lily and you're like, this is the best game ever.
Normally it's the opposite where I say all I need is Lily and then my heart drops when she doesn't come out of my deck. That's normally what happens to me, but
Look at us. We keep having opposite experiences.
it's okay, it's okay.
We'll
let them get set up and then we'll get into our next match here.
Yeah. Oh. All right. We are seeing a Arceus into Froakie start. This honestly does not look good if you are Arceus, right? This is one of the worst possible starts that you can have. But I wouldn't say Froakie is a better start at the very least.
Yeah. Runavine, maybe?
Oh
yeah, the Froakie on MSC side not good.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing a very early PKOM though, right? I think that one of the things about this deck is that you're running Garantino with Psychic Energies, which allows you to get a turn 3 Garantino, which is 130. It's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But of course, getting there is hard sometimes. And I think one of the skills I've learned is whether to charge or to attack with Lele. Lele is honestly one of the most coolest, like most interesting Pokemon to come out of the set, right? It deals 20 times the number of energy attached to a Pokemon, so its damage is extremely variable.
Yeah, it's one of those things like where you can't really control the damage yourself because it's based on your opponents, but at the same time it's kind of a check for how your opponent decides to play the game. We saw that with the Cosmog earlier this stream. Yeah, we do want to put some early damage on the Arceus that's just kind of waiting on the bench but powering up there.
Yeah, and we are already seeing, unfortunately, this damage race begin. One thing that's like interesting and the counterplay to any Arceus deck is that you're not or to any Lele deck is you're not supposed to attach energy until you're ready, right? Don't attach energy until you are ready to sweep. However, the Greninja actually tells you, hey, I know you're not supposed to attach energy, but you're gonna get ping 20 every time. So like it creates a very like interesting game where you're just pinging for 20, pinging for 20, pinging for 20, and your opponent has to deal with it, right? And right now, Dilush has to deal with it. Dilush does have to draw a leaf, or it is looking like this Arceus is stuck in the back, about to take another 40 for its troubles.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I mean, whether to retreat back either, but it looks like it's kind of gonna get poked down before it's even able to get to the active spot.
Mm-hmm. And obviously a Mars, because like, of course, Mars to like prevent a potential leaf in hand, and also bring them to 4 to 3, and we are seeing,
Oh,
uh, just so much damage. I think
finally, the
that one
Zubat.
of the things. Mhm.
No, just laughing how late the Zubat was.
Yeah. Um, and like I said, I think that one of the things that MST has the advantage of is this deck being new, right? This deck is extremely new. So not you don't necessarily have the matchup experience into it. Like I think that like Dilush's biggest mistake was attaching that second energy to an Arceus because that energy allowed them to be in KO range now, and it's very very hard like dichotomy of like figuring out what you need to do to actually beat this deck, right? And like had they attached 3 to the front, we're actually looking at a Lele that would have been KO'd. And so I think that like Dilush missed attached, and like this is all just a lack of matchup experience. I'm looking at their
Mm-hmm.
matches right now. They have not played a single deck like this yet. This is their first time they've ever played Lele in tournament. Um, and I think that like it shows, right? It's showing right now, and it's looking like MST is taking full advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, not only does Tapu Lele seem really strong, just in general, but people's
Hmm.
lack of knowledge can really be capitalized on. Even like, I felt like I played the weird Oricorio deck at first. A lot of it, right, was people just didn't know what to do with it. You'd have
Yeah.
like people bring out the Cosmion who could actually do something, and then they would just concede instead of just like playing it longer. And so like MST is able to do that here as well, where he's able to just the lack of knowledge for the matchup is really gonna help him here.
Yeah. And it's the little things, right? I think that like Pokemon Pocket can be so punishing because like you're playing 20 card decks, 3 points to win, as opposed to like the actual CCG where you do have room. Obviously, you don't want to make mistakes, but you do have room to make these mistakes, right? And we are seeing this be one of the most critical mistakes, uh, straight up.
For sure, it doesn't seem like there's really
It is.
anything to do here. I mean, you want to retreat the Arceus, but it takes too long. It's just so much damage from this Tapu Lele. That's game 1
Yeah.
for MST. We'll see if Deluge can, change their game plan. Maybe starting a different Pokemon like the Carnivine
Yeah.
or the Zubat will be helpful for the matchup.
Yeah, at least not attached to the back, especially because Tapu Lele can attack anywhere, right? So we'll love to see it. Remember, these are both 2 players within the top 8 of this 900 plus player tournament. I have full faith in Delucia's ability to, turn things around.
Yeah, for sure. Adapting to a new deck, part of what makes a lot of these players great. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna more a second to put their Pokemon.
Yeah. We are going to
Oh
see
no!
an Arceus start again.
Owie.
I'm going to say, right, one thing that's kind of important is Lele is a deck that loves going first,
I can see that, yeah.
because that first attachment, right, you're really really preying on an opponent's like misclicks, right, or like lack of options. But
Yeah.
here we are, we're seeing that they are not going first, so they're gonna attach and kind of do nothing for that first turn. Oof.
A Pokeball. So
You know what I hope we get soon?
Hmm?
You go.
No, what do you want? What do you want to get?
I hope we get more music options.
I just turn off sound during the stream. If I'm being honest, I just turn the sound off.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I feel like there's so much good music in Pokemon. Hopefully we get
There
to see it. But
is. We see
we might
Carnivine.
Carnivine, yeah.
This could be a big moment. I think we have Leaf. We can retreat on back. We want to swing for 50. One energy. What's Lele gonna do to that?
Yes, but I do want to draw our attention to the psychic energies, and the Garantina is essentially scripted. It's like already online. Long have we waited, right? You know,
Yeah.
this Garantina's activated, so excited to see what happens. And the rare candy again.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, this is as if they do a 20 ping to the Arceus. It's now catchable by Cyrus. It should be noted that MST is playing 2 Cyruses in deck. This deck, one of the scary things is that it doesn't care where your Pokemon are at. Lele's gonna find you, you know, Greninja's gonna find you, and when they do, they're going to steal 20 damage to you, and then allow you to be Cyrus.
Yeah, completely agreed. Oh, and they have the Poke Center lady as well, which is gonna keep that Carnivine from just taking them out of the game, or taking the Pokemon out of the game. I do think next turn though they may be retreating that Lele, and we're just gonna see it attack into Arceus.
That is true. It should though be noted that they only have a 1 card in hand. Now they have 2. The odds of it being Cyrus isn't the highest, which we don't see it being Cyrus, but this attack can come at any point. So let's see what happens.
We see a retreat.
Switch in, yep.
Which doesn't mean Cyrus, because nothing really can knock this Giratina out next turn regardless.
Correct. And this is looking really, really, really rough. For the Arceus player, like I said, Lele decks prey on you building up your Pokemon. If you're building up your Pokemon, you're taking damage from Lele, and if you're not building up, you're taking damage from Greninja. And this has just been like an excellent showcase on how this deck is supposed to be ran at like the highest levels.
Yeah, I completely agreed. Absolute masterclass by MST here. Giratina does look, not Giratina, Arceus does look like he'll have time to swing potentially, but Giratina is gonna need either Deluge not to hit another basic, or for him to find a potion. That's what.
Yeah. And we are seeing a Sabrina. Okay, interesting. I think very interesting. This is just a stall, but you cannot really stall this deck out, right? This deck is just going to ping. I think this is actually a very, very smart to choose not to attack, right? Because you win the game once you remove this Arceus, right? So I think MST is playing so well, and just giving us a showcase of how strong this deck is. And it doesn't matter now, right? You can always attack from the back. You don't even need Cyrus. And it is looking like it is just GG's.
Yeah, it does look like it's gonna be GG, and that's gonna be a 2-0 for MST.
Moving on to the top 4, very, very strong performance by TCG MST using a deck. Like I said, I think that this is, we talked about it before we were streaming. I think this is the deck that's going to win the tournament, and it's still in. And so I'm going all the way. There is another one, of course, playing. The 2 Darkrai players are still in a game. But the other Lele is actually down 0-1, while the other Arceus player is up 1-0 versus an Oricorio player. Is there a match that you want to see?
I'm not fully sure what I think I would prefer. It's maybe the other Arceus versus Giratina.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find that. What if we do channel 4 this time, so we can flip position?
Yeah, I'm for it. Mm.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we enter on a very silly board. Is what I'll say is. Oricorios are currently blocking an Arceus with their life on the line. While this Garantina gets charged. Um, I can't, I can't see what's happening here, but it is a very mischievous game.
Yeah, it is that these Oricorios move to keep swinging, it looks like, into these RCSs. And I can't help but wonder if the RCSs are captured in the active or if the Carnivine, they don't want to put the Carnivine in front of Oricorio.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, it should be noted that Virum has 2 points. So
oh, oops, I didn't even notice that.
no, you're fine. So yeah, this is just not looking good. And now there's just multiple ways to get this KO. It looks like we're going to see a game 3, the last Arceus Crobat player versus a Garantina Oricorio. Honestly, like I said, I've climbed like over 200 points with Oricorio Greninja. Um, it's a deck I'm pretty familiar with at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that this matchup is actually pretty even. I think it can go either way, depending on the draws. Or like Carnivines just attack so fast. Just like Crobats also attack. Just like Oricorios can get set up just as quickly.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, really interesting to think just how like even matched it still is, despite having this big RCSs or a Choreo that you might think be really strong against some of these like 2-point decks, but Carnivine can do a lot of damage, and so can Crobat with that 30 ping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are going into this game 3. I'm extremely excited for it. This top 8, this top 64 has been a lot of games down to the wire, and we are just gonna get another one.
Let's let them get set up, but into game 3.
Yeah, do you have your own like idea of what you're rooting for at this point in the tournament?
I'm not fully sure. It seems like maybe I want Arceus Crobat to win.
Mm.
But like at the same time, I'm not like with the current decks that are left in the tournament, I don't have one that I'm like, please win. Like
Yeah, I get you.
all of them I'm a little bit upset with. But
There's no Charizard. There's no Charizard.
no Charizard. There's
uh
maybe I'm rooting for the Tapu Lele as well at this point.
All right. Yes, we're believers. We'll figure it out what we are.
Believers.
But
No, that sounds weird.
If Crobat wins again, or I guess Crobat hasn't won yet. Last week was won by Garantina Snorlax, right? And there's notably no Garantina Snorlax in the top 8. That's just how fast this meta moves.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I've absolutely loved with rank is like I feel like rank moves the competitive scene in hyper speed.
Yeah.
Versus like before, it kind of felt like the tournament you would have like a really fun like first week or last week, but like in between, not as much. But
speaking of having fun, I do see the candy already in possession of the Greninja player, so we can see what can be either a fast game or a short one. Because candies allow this Froakie to evolve into Greninja. And like I said, this matchup there's a lot of pop off potential. Like anyone can win at any moment. What are your thoughts right now?
I think Carnivine's pretty well set up, so I'm a little bit concerned for Zavirum here.
Oh, and we
Oh,
see the meta card, right?
the
The card
Mars
that has
even more
defined.
so. I, what are you supposed to really do, right, when they're like putting just like so much damage onto your bench or like into your active Pokemon? We don't have our Ori set up. We do finally find Ori, but we really, I think, need to find Giratina at the least.
Yeah. This is the meta, right? Mars, like we just watched this perfect hand full of Greninjas, full of rare candies, get
Yeah.
Mars into what is essentially nothing, and we're going gambling again, and not enough.
There's a Greninja, but there's not a candy.
Not a candy. Whew.
We have obviously that normal heal, but we're definitely, I feel like a little bit concerned right now, right? Because if we have Crobat this turn, Froakie could go down without even having to have the attack committed to him. And I think, at least at some point, he is going to want to set up Giratina, and so then they won't be able to attack.
Yeah,
Right?
and I think Arceus is showing us why like I said, Arceus is the best deck asterisk. This is when it's the best deck, when you have Crobat out, when you have Carnivines out, and your Arceus is being charged. And this is looking like a quick game 3.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Yeah. Unfortunate for our Oricorio player, but this does give us a pretty diverse top 4. I just do not see what you can do even with this, right? You are gonna still be KO'd by a Crobat plus Carnivine.
Yeah, this is a really bad spot to be in. I think that Mars really wrecked us a bit there.
Yeah. But we are, like I said, kind of in a very interesting scenario here.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I think, 4 different decks actually
Ooh.
in top 4. That is how diverse the meta is. We have a Greninja or Oricorio player facing off against what will be an Arceus Crobat player, and then we have Dark Tina versus Lele. Yeah, a completely diverse top 4. Yes, 3 of them have Garantina, but they all kind of function and play differently. And I
Yeah,
think that's
very.
so important to know.
That's a great point to point out as well, like what you're saying. I'm really excited for us to get to watch some of these games, and we'll get to watch both the top 4, both top 4s. So quickly
Yeah.
checking the Giratina match. They finished their game 2 about 4 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago?
Oh.
So we may
Oh, the
have
Darkrai
one.
players are still playing.
The
Of
Darkrai
course.
players are still playing. Yeah, very much, of course.
Yeah.
Um,
I just assumed that one of them already. Yeah, let's watch one of them.
let's see. We can hop to channel 20. It looks like.
Yeah.
Your mic is weirdly messed up all of a sudden. It sounds very fishbowl.
Oh. Wait, hello?
Oh, now
Test?
you're good. Now you're good.
Whew.
It was very. I had not heard that from you at all.
No, yeah, that would have been odd. But we are in a very interesting situation. There is a It looks like the front player has a lot of things charged.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Zoroark has a lot of things charged, whereas our other player is actually still like might barely have something charged. Like the Garantina isn't even ready to attack. So I wonder what happened in this game state to get us to a situation like this in the first place.
Yeah, it looks like they must have the Kanado must have taken a while to find those Giratina EXs. not able to spend a couple turns bellowing where they would have liked to.
Yeah. And I like this potion. This is basically saying, hey, I see that you have this really amazing Darkrai with 3 energy. I don't want you to KO me with that. You're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way with a Garantina attack.
Yeah, gonna have to guarantee it. The Garatina. But, it looks like we're gonna avoid attacking here, but it will put the Giratina down to just 90 health, which is actually in range of a Darkrai attack even without a pain. So they could put the Dark Energy. Well, no, it's only a 30.
Yeah. Yes, this is a very interesting game state. I love like you can always trace back what's happening in a Dark Tina mirror match. But where we're at, it's looking like we're coming to this end game. This use of PCL is really, really good because now it's going to force a red from the Darkrai player. And if the Darkrai player uses red, they won't have red to KO the other Darkrai in the back.
Good point. Ouchie moment. Ow. Looks like the timer is counting down. They're gonna swing into the Darkrai. We're gonna go down. Oh no!
Wait,
we're
whoa,
not.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh, God,
whoa,
we don't
whoa!
have
What are you
time for
doing? What are
this.
you doing? What are
We
you
don't
doing?
have
Why?
time
No! Why do you guys do this? You guys are stressing me out. Oh my god!
Why do you guys do this? You're stressing me out.
Oh, my heart can't take this.
Oh my god.
I think you were supposed. I guess you still always. No, you don't die.
Or the
You
red
do
can
die.
knock
So
out
the PCL.
here.
The red would knock out. It's important to note that they can't red because it's 1 energy, 1 energy.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking retreat
but-
back, but yeah.
But the attack would have. The attack would have been so huge if they were able to get it off. But Dark Tina boys.
This is what you deserve. Giratina. There's.
Red from the dark. Oof. It is kind of interesting to watch now, and I think I don't know. I feel like the timer is just so scary. We're getting to so many games coming down to like this last moment, and I think that like there is a lot of decision making you need to do in Pocket, and because it's a online game as opposed to like a physical game, there is like in-game like an in-game timer, right? Which you don't have that when you're playing physical card games, right? Like you can only like call a judge if you're being slow played, but like I feel like we only have like 90 seconds to make a play in this game.
Yeah, 90 seconds though is like roughly what you're supposed to only have 15 seconds per action in the physical card game. But like the first couple of turns or like the big like moments, it makes like people understand you using extra time. There's technically like a time amount you're allowed with every action you make, but you could make like 20 actions in a turn, and you are minimum allowed to spend every single one. So you can get really long turns, yeah. Like you could have.
That's interesting.
But it's not always good either. There's like pros and cons to it, right? But
yeah. I do like that it's controlled, right? Like you can't like argue, right? You can't.
You could argue it, though, right? Like, oh, I'm making a really important thinking. I really need to think of
Well,
it.
I mean, in Pocket you can't argue.
Oh
it,
yeah,
right?
no, that's
there's
like
the
how
timer.
Pocket. Agreed.
Yeah, but like in real life, you will have people going to bat.
There's a thing called playing the clock in the physical card game, so definitely.
That is true, right? Because especially you have like 50 round timers.
Yeah, you have like a 50-minute round timer, and then people like you'll have games like in the tournament on stream that 40 minutes is what it takes for game 1. and then
Yeah.
you know, you need to prize check,
No.
you need to quote unquote do all these things, and probably aren't even
Yeah.
finishing a game too, in that case.
I've seen people also like complain that there's a lot of time in between turns, like make these decisions, and it's like kind of like annoying at a certain point. Like it's like, why are we taking so long to like make, you know, different plays? But very interesting to see, and it is looking like that crucial turn is going to be what decides the game, right? It was looking all Zoroark's favored, all James favored. I keep reading their in-game name. And it is just how the cookie crumbles, right?
Yeah, it can be. We're really trying to figure out what to do here, it feels like. There are 2 points on Kanato's side, but James is trying to figure out how to bring it back now.
Yeah. But I think that with red, yeah, there is unfortunately no way. This mirror does not allow you to make mistakes. And that was the biggest mistake that you can make in the mirror, is running out of time. Because you don't even get a bellow, and like it's just, you don't even get an attack if you're trying to attack. Really, really huge and really unfortunate. But that is going to be the end of that set, and Kana moves forward. Kanado Modiduki is now in top 4.
Yeah, we officially have our top 4 now. I think we'll just watch from Kanato's point of view again, because they'll be in our first
have
thing.
them get right into it.
But you have it sounds like so much experience with this Tapu Lele deck, which is what MST is going to be running into Kanato, and you're a Darkrai Giratina fiend. So give us the lowdown on what we should expect with this matchup.
So this matchup, in my opinion, is slightly Lele favored. You know, the difference of Oricorio is where it's like very heavily Oricorio favored. This one's slightly Lele favored. Every energy attachment is a chance for Lele to deal damage. I think the most important thing is going to be the bellow usage, because you still need to charge up a Greninja, Garantina on the Lele side, while attacking with Lele. And a skill that I've learned, and something I still have to learn, is when to click Tapu Lele's attack. Because you can click Tapu Lele's attack to deal 20, or you can wait and bellow, and while they're still attaching, then you deal 40, and you've already done a bellow. This deck has a lot of decision paths to make, and I think that, you know, MST has made it to the top 4. They're gonna, if there's a player that's gonna be able to display the nuances, it's gonna be them. It is important to note that, you know, Darkrai Garantina is one of the most consistent decks. You're basically almost guaranteed to start one of those guys. You're gonna probably have both of them, and you just need to understand the very small matchup nuances, right? You can't attach to the back. The back isn't safe. The back isn't safe because of Lele. So you should be attaching to that front, but the more you attach to the front, the more damage you'll take. And it's going to take you at least 3 turns to get off that first attack. And by that time, Lele is going to do attacks. And this isn't even accounting for Greninja, who's going to deal 20 pings to the entire board. So there's a lot of decisions to make. And I think that these are 2 of the most highly skilled decks to play. So we'll have to see. That's my my analysis on this matchup so far.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it, trying to do the math while we were talking. I guess, like, at least on Tapu Lele's side, you are able to hand attach the Giratina, right? Instead of only having to rely on bellows. So if you're doing like 20, 40, 60 to a Darkrai, because I assume they're going to be attaching that way, that's 120. So you need to attach a Greninja, or make it a Greninja, because that finishes off the Darkrai.
But the important thing also is that Tapu Lele is a one prizer.
Yeah.
So you can do 20, 40, 60. Let's say that first Lele drops, you can bring in another Lele, right? So there are other options. And if the Garantina ever attacks without, without a Giant's Cape, it now can be feinted by the other. So Greninja is only upside in this matchup, and having a Greninja swings the matchup heavily. But of course, not having the Greninja, it's still a very even matchup. But like I said, the biggest thing is that MST has 6 basics versus Darkrai Tina, who only has Darkrai, only has Tina. So your consistency of drawing these cards is important still, even if the matchup in theory, like we did just watch an Oricorio player lose to a Darkrai Tina player, right? That was actually James that was just on earlier.
Yeah, it was very sad.
Very sad. Thoughts and prayers.
But we'll see what happens now as we get into this game. But yeah, I am dropping all my things. But yeah, huge congrats to James though to making it all the way to the top 8 against 950 some, I think 950 players, somewhere in there. So
yeah,
really great job by all the players. It is very, a lot of nerves, a lot of pressure when you're playing on a stream like this and in the top 8. So
yeah, and James should 100% be proud of himself. Making top 8 is no small feat. Like I remember my first top 8, right? Like I ended up losing to Vixie, right? Was not the strongest showing, but like it's still like, wow, you did that, right? And I think 100%. That's really cool, and you'll do it again. As long as you keep entering these tournaments, you're gonna have another good one. Like you might have not been fully experienced, but it'll come to you. And speaking of coming to them, Arcana has now have Darkrai and Garantina. So this is kind of like the optimal start for them.
Completely right. We're starting with Froakie on MST side, which you said is not what we want, correct? Or are you okay with that?
You are okay with Froakie because it's a 1 energy card anyway. And Froakie might mean that you can have Greninja, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, of course, it's not your ideal start. You would 100% rather start with Lele, but
is there some world where you like this going second though, since you can only do 20 damage to Giratina here instead of the Darkrai if you had started Tapu Lele?
Correct. So like the thing is that Lele gets 1 shot no matter what you do. But this is still like very fine. You're gonna notice that there is the Giant's Cape on this Garantina, which essentially what that is saying is hey, you cannot under any circumstance 1-shot me with any of your 2 combos. So I really like it. It's not the best start, but MST has so many cards in hand. Only time will tell, right? Like there might be a Lele, there's a Pokeball here, and we are going to see a Lele. See? Ask and it shall appear.
But you can't retreat this turn, right? Is the only problem.
That is true. You cannot. But I think that's also okay. Because Lele's damage only increases with cards drawn. And I think that's such an important thing to keep in mind. So like even if it's not dealing a 20, which 20 can just be potioned back, right? It will eventually. We are seeing the Mars, right? That hand was getting a little bit too big. And we're already seeing one of the strongest points, right? You can just Mars away a big hand.
Yeah, I think that there is always a concern getting those big hands. You're basically tempting fate with your Mars / Reds. Like,
Yeah.
The bigger your hand, the bigger dopamine rush it is to hit the red card, hit the Mars, and hope that it's for the best.
Yeah. And of course, we are seeing that Darkrai attach here is going to be huge. Dealing 20 to the Froakie. And the Rocky helmet. Uh-oh. What this
Uh-oh.
means is that this Garantina can never attack safely, without getting one shot. And I don't think that I don't think he is running. I don't
No
think
Guzma.
MST is running any Guzma. Yeah,
Guzma.
no Guzma. And we did see a red drawn. This is actually the optimal position for Kana to be in, because red, even if you were to take out something like the Garantina in the back, if that thing has Rocky Helmet, the Giant's Cape Pokemon will be unfortunately at risk.
This is going to be an interesting turn as well. MST definitely needs to get the Froakie out of the active. He does do it and plays a Pokemon Center Lady. So this Tapu Lele will be able to do, what, 40 to the Darkrai, 60 to the...
60, yep,
okay,
to the Tina.
one of the Giratina.
Yeah, this is a very interesting turn here. Like I said, if there's a Cyrus in MST's hand, you can now pull this Garantina and potentially win the game off of that. Of course, we do also see from the Iona earlier that there's a Cyrus in Kana's hand, and if Kana grabs the Froakie, there's no Greninja chance. So let's see what ends up happening here. Oh, and I love that the preemptive Rocky Helmet, knowing that there's no Guzma, this means that the Garantina is in KO range no matter what. This is prime position to be in if you are, MST, or not if you're MST, if you're Kana. That said, saving the Cyrus is very interesting. I think I was more likely to Cyrus the Froakian, because if they get Greninja here, they are able to say Greninja the back. Oh, they're Cyrusing this one. Interesting.
One in the Giratina.
Yep. Yes, you're doing this because you're basically saying I win as long as you do not have specifically red, right? This is what MST's only out is, but it might be a little bit too little too late, unfortunately. Note seeing the Greninja, and it is looking like we are going to go to a game 2.
Do you think that MST finishes this one off, or is it going to be a red knockout? I mean,
yeah,
MST does get those 2 points, but
let's find out, right? Red wins the game here, and
that's a red.
We're seeing
Dun, dun, dun.
that is red.
And we're going to game 2. Is there anything you think that MST could do better that would win him this game?
Yeah, so truthfully, this matchup, that Mars ended up giving, it was a correct Mars, right? You Mars them from 6 cards to 3, but that Mars ended up giving Darkrai the perfect hand. They had 2 Rocky Helmets, a red. I hope the MST doesn't look at the VODs back, because that would be very unfortunate to look at. That said, you really do need Greninja. Greninja shifts this matchup so much, but it's a matter of getting it. I think that MST played it really well. Just no Greninja, right?
Yeah, just no
and
Greninja.
The Giratina is unfortunately going to be what wins. But yeah, double Rocky Helmet. The Giant's Cape on the Giratina was correct. The only issue was that the double Rocky is how you counter that. And if you're not running Guzma, you will still faint.
Yeah, let's see if MST can bring it back then. It was definitely a very strong showing by Kanado, so you're gonna have to convince me this is a 50-50 match. Convince me.
Well, it's not looking like a 50-50 match right now. But it does look like if they're gonna pass their turn, there's gonna be no Lele, which
Ooh.
is huge.
Yeah.
Not no Lele, no Giratina.
That's
I'm also
huge
looking.
for
Yeah.
MST because that does mean that we need an extra turn to fully power up that Giratina. Versus, you know, if you found one that turn, then Garchomp would be hitting 3 dark energies at the same time that Giratina would be having 4 or 3 psychic energies.
Correct. So this is actually like really, really huge, really, really important. It looks like both Tinas might be missing. Like, I don't know. Chat, have you seen a Giratina? It looks like yay big, you know, a little bit wide. Doesn't like being called wide. But we're not seeing it right now.
I think Kanata must have called it wide, so it's gotten a little petty and just staying out of his hand. But,
I mean, I would agree with you, but it looks like MST is also not being able to draw it. So the
they heard you
Giratinas
were
are on
calling
vacation.
them wide, and they decided not to show up for the stream. But don't worry, we have guaranteed Rye instead of Giratina.
Guaranteed. We do have a guaranteed Darkrai, and another professor's research drawing through basically your entire deck here. And we see the rare candy, and this is where things get dicey. This is where things are going to get another rare candy. Okay, yeah. So.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was. Yeah, this is gonna be the game. Yeah, I don't. It's actually impossible for you to win now if you are, Kana. Maybe you can get another Darkrai, but the damage is way too high. This is, yeah, I don't know.
Oh man. I mean.
The red card coming a turn too late as well. Oh no.
Tragic.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not technically over yet. You know, there is still not a lot of psychics, and there is no shortage of healing coming out of Kana's side, right? The caveat is that you didn't draw Giratina, you didn't draw Darkrai, but you drew every single healing card here. You know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, everyone is here. Every single healing card is here. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're all here except Giratina. I'm like trying to think of like any way you actually could win, but like I just don't know it. Maybe if we don't hit something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, right now, MST does not have another psychic type to attach. This is a mono psychic energy deck, meaning that these Greninjas are not actually able to carry the weight of winning this game. As you see, the psychic energy attachment also revealing exactly what we kind of just said. And all of a sudden, this very one game is still not here, and the Giratinas are still extremely shy. I don't think a Giratina would help Kana as much as it would help MST take this to a game too, because obviously you would need to take some turns for that to happen. And another
40.
Ooh.
They'll be able to knock
Another
out the
40.
Lele this turn, but I mean, oh.
Okay,
I
the
don't know.
Pokeball. I think if this is a Darkrai, it would be a lot better. But if this is a Giratina, we are still in a kind of stalled game state.
Dun dun dun.
Dun-dun-dun. Okay. Do. Boom, 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 boom. At 10 HP, if MST can see a Lele, it would be very good. If MST can see a Giratina, it can also spell the beginning of the end. So we'll see what happens here.
I wonder if they decide to bellow or not, because they could be saying, oh, you won't hit the, you know, into the cape when you have 10 health, but, I mean...
You do have to remove the Lele first, unfortunately. Otherwise, the Lele will see the energy and be like, wow, nice energy. Would be a shame.
Would be a shame if I just destroyed you for it.
Yeah. And we're seeing just the power of all the healing that Darkrai had. Like, this looked like a GG's. Honestly, this looked over. But instead, we are in a game state where it is not yet over. But at the same time, MST is unable to draw another Psychic type. Oh my gosh.
Especially after that red, it did not look good.
Yeah. But it is important. I do think that Kanato has used all of their remaining healing. They've used both potions and a PCL. So this Darkrai is guaranteed to not be here next turn.
Let's see. I mean, they could. Yeah, no, they can't even knock out the Greninja here. Research is coming down.
We do. Research coming down. This is huge if we can see the Darkrai. No Darkrai.
Darkrai hates. I don't know.
Well, at least Giratina finally showed up, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. You do need to set up this Giratina, unfortunately, or you can take this KO. So like, this is so much happening here. But I think time is on MST's side.
It does feel that way, yeah. Especially if we don't decide to attack, it definitely feels like the time is just gonna be on the side.
Yeah.
Even if we attack, maybe. Especially if we attack. Actually, let me reword that. Decided I was wrong.
Yeah, let's see if they attack. If they attack, the Lele is in potential. I mean, the Greninja is in potential Cyrus range, which is important to note. MST running, I think, only one healing. They do have another cape, of course, so it's not the end of the world for MST. And the Giratina has dropped. Oh, the Giratina is here. The game is on a timer, and that timer is all in favor of MST. Wow, what a reversal here. The Giratina is finally showing face.
And I mean, MST doesn't have to try to like, you know, stall turns, because they're just gonna be pinging with this ability, so they can ping and bellow.
Yeah, and this is where the even slight favor of this matchup comes, right? Is that like, as long as you're able to get like a Greninja, you are always going to be faster. The MST will always be faster than Darkrai, and we are all but assuredly going into a game number 3 for this top 4.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what the next game might bring as well, if they can get Giratinas live on both sides. But we definitely saw the power of some of those extra attackers like Tapu Lele and the Greninja pings for this game.
The Greninja pings were very, very goofy, but yeah, it's a little too late over here. I don't see a way for Kanato to end up winning here.
Yeah, it seems not really possible, but
we're heading all, but it's looking like just a guaranteed win for MST as we go into this game 3. What are your thoughts on this matchup so far? You've watched 2 games of it now.
You've got
what
two
are your
games
hopes?
of it, and now I'm interested to see how it works when both decks are online. But I would love. I think it really does seem like at least slightly favored in MST side. Maybe one of those things though that we talked about like briefly in general, not this game. Darkrai Giratina has like so much consistent damage and just the Pokemon showing up. I think I remember last set, the first, when I was like talking to Sora about what games I should play on ladder, he was like, oh, I took the Arceus, because at that time it was like Arceus, Giratina, Darkrai. He's like, I took the Arceus out because turn 2, every time I have all 4 of the Pokemon. And that's like kind of the case here, minus this game. Versus like MST, you need to hit candies, you need to hit Greninja the same turn as the candies in your hand. Tapu Lele is obviously really good, but could get one shot if you don't find a second Tapu Lele as well. And you do have to power up the Giratina, but maybe MST's deck. I'm hoping MST's deck. This is the. I told you I want Lele to win.
Yeah, we're Lele. We'll figure out the words. We want Lele to win. Lele believers.
I was gonna say Tapu Leavers, but that sounds like you're leaving the Tapu Lele when you.
True. Okay, we can't be Tapu Leavers. We'll figure it out. Someone will figure it out for us if we don't figure it out.
Yeah, we'll probably have to do like an extra L, like how people would be like the Believers, or like that. Because if you left the extra L in there, you need the Believers as well. So we need like a extra letter in there, like Tapu Leavers. No, that's not a good one.
Tapu Leavers. No. Tapu Believers? We'll figure it out.
Flavors? Tapu
well,
no, not that one.
MST is Tapu Lele leading this game as we go into game 3. We'll be
we can do that one.
We'll be here all stream.
We'll be here all stream. Don't worry, guys. I'm sure you're really enjoying our puns today. More so you're stuck with us for the next 2 hours. Let's see.
Okay, we're seeing a Darkrai start. What are we gonna see? A Lele Froakie. This is, both decks are basically doing their best starts, right? Like I said, Lele loves to go first, because if you're going first, not only does your opponent attach, but you can also have that sneaky, coinky-dink, rare candy out of nowhere. And you get the Giratina. Oh my gosh. This is a frightening game.
Yeah, definitely a frightening game when you're facing off MST like this. Ouch. I think we're in the perfect position for MST. Kano on the other side? Maybe we're fine.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. I mean, let's see what Kanado ends up doing. Has the Darkrai. Looks like they have the Pokeball. If they get Giratina, both decks are online. Ooh, Darkrai. Okay, here's my hot take. Or maybe not too much of a hot take. I actually like double Darkrai in this matchup as opposed to Darkrai Giratina. But not having either or is kind of rough, because you can like kind of energy manipulate here. You can attach to Darkrai, you can attach to the back Darkrai. There's a lot of things that you can kind of do. Whereas if you have Giratina, it's just guaranteed to get pinged by Lele. They're always going to bypass the Rocky Helmet. So very interesting board state that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, interesting board state for sure, but I will believe that we'll win here. I'm stealing this from chat, by the way. I'm believing that we're gonna win still on ST side.
Heck yeah. But I like what is happening. Even though a Pokeball was used, it is important to note that Kanado is not putting down this Darkrai. So it's saying, hey, I see that you're Lele. I see that you can attack me. If you want to attack me, you're going to have to, go through this Rocky Helmet, and MST responding by just not attacking.
Yeah.
This is what this meta has. There's just so many routes that you can take on both sides, and like I said, it's a very, very high skilled deck on both sides. A lot of people would have attacked with Lele there, and that would be a misplay, because they can easily just heal off. So really, really cool to see. But we do still have a lot of game left here.
Yeah, as a new believer, I was kind of wondering, why aren't we attacking, right? Like, we don't care about the little damage. But I think what you're saying is, That's what you learn with more time and expertise in the deck, you know, exactly what to do with every single matchup. In this case.
And now, now you would attack, right? Because now it's at 4. They would need 2 potions to even heal through this energy arrow, and that might be something that they don't have, right? And if they don't have it, the game can just end here. So lots to think about here. Here we go. We do see a double dupe. A red card. Looking at red carding this MST's very small hand, it is unfortunate when it's 4 cards, so you are getting value out of this red card. It was in there for a while, and they're bringing down this Darkrai now. This is a very interesting situation to be in, because I think the best play right now is actually charge the back Darkrai. I think the best play is to not attack. But does Kanato see it, right? And we can they figure that out through the stress of the game? Is where we're at. See, they're currently making the decision, and yes, this is the best way to play this matchup. And you're gonna put the Giant's Cape to just keep you healthy, kind of force this Giratina in. And this game just becomes very, very interesting. There is no Leafs in MST's deck, so if they end up attacking with this Giratina, which they will, this is permanent, right? And for the rest of this game, this is a Cyrusable Pokemon. This was a decision to make, right? And I think that like Kanato is showing why Darkrai Giratina is so good. Because you have so many decision paths. I personally don't think I would have done that, right? I personally, because you have to remember that Mars is extremely big, right? And like it's hard. There's so many decisions you're making on both sides, right? Granted, you can attack and you can just win with Lele. So there's a lot happening here. And I guess we'll see who wins in due time.
Do they have the red here? But yeah, it's a great question. We'll have to... I guess we can't even attack this turn.
Yeah. You're really...
Okay, we're looking at Mars here.
I see the decision points right now. I do see the decision points. It's basically it's either you're Marsing them or you're Cyrusing them, I think was what Kanato was deciding. And they decided to Mars. Unfortunately, a Mars is not gonna stop the professor research into drawing so many more cards. But there's still a lot of decisions to make here. In a devastating 130, the only way you get out of this is 2 healing items. Does Kanato have it?
Yeah, let's see if they have it.
Ooh. It is very quiet, very quiet.
Yeah. We have 1 potion.
That will not be enough. You do need another item.
So we need 1 more item. Even then, if we hit Greninja, is it still safe?
Unfortunately, the game is over. Yeah, you needed 1 more. Obviously, yes, Greninja would secure it for Lele or from ST, but like, yeah, this is rough. There's no healing out of 60 damage. MSC playing this really well, showing where the advantage comes from in this matchup. and honestly putting on like a Lele masterclass. We are believers, and we believed that this would happen. And this means that Dark Tina will not make the finals of another Ursiiday, right? I don't think it made finals last week.
Yeah, I don't think it did not make finals last week, so yeah. I mean,
okay.
I'm always happy to see how it goes.
Yeah. Very interesting, and I mean, again, congrats to Kanado. Very strong deck. Very, like I said, I don't think they made many mistakes in that game. I think they played it exactly how they should have played it. Just again, both really expertly played. From both ends. We got one more top 4 match for us, right?
One more top 4. Let me see if I can find it, or not find it, but let them know that they can get started.
Yep.
And I'm always happy when Darkrai Giratina does not make it.
Ooh, is that a little bit of a haterade we're sipping?
A large amount of haterade, yeah.
A large amount.
Large
okay,
amount.
okay.
Okay, let's see here. We're gonna wait, what channel are they at? Do you have preference on Crobat or for Oricorio?
I like the funny bird guy.
Okay, which one is the funny bird guy? Because Crobat's kind of a bird.
Oh, the funny bird guy, Oricorio.
Oh, okay. So let's watch. I was so confused for a second. I was like, what?
Yeah, I realized that I should have. I mean, is a bat a bird?
I mean, is a chicken a bird?
Is a chicken a bird?
I don't know.
Is a chicken a bird?
I don't. Is it?
Chicken is a bird? Chickens are birds.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm just wrong. Sorry. Sorry. Let's have a show 35 real quick.
Okay, 35?
Mm-hmm. I was just very confused because then you said herb bird, and I used to play a game called Herbs, and I was like, I don't think any of these characters are in Herbs. What do you mean?
Herbs? Is that like a Sims?
No, it's Eternal Return. Something.
Herbs with E.
ERBS is video game. Was Eternal. Wait, it's like a battle royale game. It's like Eternal Return something.
Okay.
It had a second half of the name, but on Steam it seems to have lost its second half of the name. Don't know how that happened. But yeah.
All right. Yeah, you don't know how time has worked on it. But yeah, we're seeing, I think that this is an even matchup. Like I said, I think Crobat Arceus is the best deck asterisk, and the asterisk is that they draw everything. So let's see what happens. What are your thoughts on this? What would you like? Do you have like a bias, a lean, or any thoughts on the matchup?
I feel like it's I don't know with the Giratina, but in general, I feel like the Carnivine is good into the Oricorio.
Mm-hmm. It should be. Yep.
So I think I'm also a big fan of, like, you know, having a Giratina versus a not Giratina in the final. So I'm voting for the Crobat. Just
okay.
Meta.
Yeah, just for that variety.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the spice of life, so I completely understand you.
I think I'm for the. Also, when Triumphant Light first came out, the deck I wanted, I thought would be good was Crobat, Darkrai, and Arceus. Just needed a couple more sets.
Isn't it? Yeah, isn't it crazy? Like, all of these cards, I think that we knew were gonna be good, got good, right? Like, I think you thought Crobat. I was like, Greninja is gonna be broken eventually.
Bro, I saw Greninja when the game first came out, and I was like, this card is cracked. Why isn't it sitting in any decks?
It just took a little candy, and that's all it needed.
All I needed. I mean, even during the Executor meta, Darkrai
Hmm.
Greninja was so strong without eggs.
Yeah,
Uh,
without
but
it.
it was Black Survival. Yeah, that's the second half of
Yeah.
ERBS. But like, bro, I thought Greninja was gonna be so cracked, but I played the first set like basically free to play because I
Yeah.
wanted, because like I was, a lot of people were spending money when I was over in New Zealand, so I like okay, I'm just not gonna spend real money. Could not find
Yeah.
the Greninja. I couldn't pull a Greninja. I couldn't find a Greninja. And from day one, I was like, I need a Greninja. I think this card is broken. I need it. I want it.
Yeah.
Give it to me. And the game was like, no.
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 I was like, I got my first one and it was through a Wonder Pick, like after it had
Yeah.
released, like had its actual release.
Yeah. Can we talk about right now in this game all of uh Fairy's slots are taken. There's no Froakie to be seen. No nada, right? And this Arceus is only getting more and more charged.
How do you feel about them not leaving any space for a Froakie? Do you think they should have done that?
Um, it's just kind of hard, right? Based off of the board state, like what was the correct play. I think that though with these Iridas that we're gonna be seeing, they're gonna be living a long time, and also it's still good to note that there's no Zubats coming out
Mm-hmm.
uh from Ray's side. So I think it was the right play, even if it looks a little bit awkward. And we're seeing the Irida. Maybe with the Irida, it wasn't necessarily the right play, but there's no Froakie, right? There is no Froakie uh yet, and there is a fully charged Giratina ready to attack by the next turn. So lots of exciting things happening. And with no Crobat in sight, this can be a very interesting swing of the game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they get. We hit the candy that does not matter if you don't have a Froakie down. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I think Irida is so interesting in these lists. It almost like
Hmm.
uh, it makes you wonder if you should play even more dual energy decks and you have Greninja in them, right? Like I
Yeah.
think of like the Tapu Lele with Irida, but
Hmm.
realistically doesn't really help that much when it gets one shot essentially by a Darkrai regardless. But in the case of Oricorio that
Yeah.
can't get hit, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think obviously this one has natural synergy, right? Oricorio is a lightning colorless attacker. Greninja is a water colorless attacker. So it just makes sense to have that dual energy
Yeah, for
synergy.
sure.
I want to highlight a really, really good play by Fairy. They purposely chose not to use Professor's research because Ray does run Mars, Ray does run
Mm-hmm.
Rare Candy, and if we're paying attention to the game state right now, if an electric energy is generated, um, we are looking at this game uh potentially just being won.
Mm-hmm.
And the electric energy is generated, like I said, uh if we see an attack and then eventually a Cyrus, this can be huge. I think, yep, water
Yeah.
energy there, attack
Water.
here. This can be game right now, right? The only thing that would stop this is a Mars. So does Ray
Oh.
have it? Ray has a rare candy.
Oh, Crobat. Oh
Mm-hmm.
no.
Let's see what happens. The 30. But remember, you bring in this fully healthy Oricorio if they one of the important things is that trainers haven't been used. If there's Cyrus in Ray's hand, we're looking at a 3-point turn.
Yeah, could be.
Mars, yep.
Oh.
Okay, we are not getting a 3-point turn yet, but we
I wonder if there's like some world that yeah where you like yeah we were still gonna tackle the Carnivine then, but
yes, but if we just saw that Mars might be working for the other team, as we just saw 2 Cyruses enter Fairy's hand. Um,
Ouch.
and this
Exciting.
is a game 1 going to Oricorio, Shaman,
Much faster
Greninja.
game on this side of the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
But really interesting to see that they both brought out those big swinging 2-pointers, and one side had Cyrus and could capitalize on it, and one side didn't.
Yeah. Honestly, that was just some good uh Pokemon Pocket gameplay. I think both sides like had average luck, right? The Crobat came out much later for Ray, but like the Fairy did not even get a Froakie that entire game. And this is why I said this matchup is extremely, extremely even. Oricorio's being able to block Arceus is huge. And of course, like Oricorio is just slightly more consistent. But let's see what happens in this game too.
Let's find out. And we're starting with a Carnivine on Ray's side. They're definitely going to find an Arceus, but they don't need to this turn since it's turn 1. No energies can be played. Fairy, on the other hand, starting with Giratina EX. I don't think is what is my
This
assumption.
is not. Also, oof, what an awkward opening. Not a single basic. I was just talking about consistency.
Yeah.
And here we see what might be the most inconsistent start in all of Pocket somehow. Not a single basic accompanying this Giratina.
That's painful.
Oh. Oh, it looks like this is gonna be a fast entry to game 3.
We hit Irida, but no water to be seen.
No water, triple lightning.
Ouch.
Uh,
Another 30. Not 50. Yeah, another 50.
well, yeah, I don't know. This is really funny. I think that Crobat Arceus is like obviously such a good deck. But for me, sometimes I'm not feeling lucky. Oh, no, the free candy. There's nothing. Where did all the basics go?
Honestly, that's a concede. And we're into game 3. Into game
Into
3.
game 3. That was a quick handshake of a match.
Yeah.
Hopefully both sides are able to play this next time.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I want another game like game 1, you know?
I do know, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
Exactly.
It's a 20 card deck, but sometimes your cards hate you.
I feel like sometimes is like 80% of the time. That's like 80% of the time. No, I'm just kidding. But still.
All right, here we go. The Froakie start this time around. So I think that, Fairy number 1, finally, having a start that isn't too awful, right? Going second as well is scary because you are open to Ray drawing Exodia. Is there an equivalent for Exodia in Pokemon? When you just draw everything, then you win the game like very early because of it?
Hyrule? Donking? Maybe?
I guess donking. Yeah, I guess, but isn't that like donking like a turn 1 thing, or is that like always just like
Donking is like where you hit everything to basically knock it out turn 1. But there's not like the same thing where like you lay off. Okay, so I don't really understand what happens to Exodia, but I feel like Exodia, you put it down and it's a win con and you just automatically win without doing anything. But I don't know if there's like an ability on Exodia that makes it happen.
Yeah, so Exodia is just a terminology for like where you just win because you draw all the perfect cards early, right? And I think that we might be seeing that from Ray. If they have Rare Candy plus Crobat, this game might just be over. We're seeing a Pokemon communication, which can be the game winner right here. And
let's see if it comes
fingers
down.
crossed.
Okay, Carnivine.
Not a game winner yet. Okay. There's still game to be played.
Will it come down? It could. It could still come down. There's 3 cards in his hand.
There's
Mars.
3
Okay.
cards, and a Mars is one
I
of
don't
those
know.
cards.
Do you Mars there? Knowing the hand? Obviously, they couldn't see the hand.
I
Bro,
think I
double
would Mars
Cyrus
there.
again.
Cause
Sorry,
double
we gotta
Cyrus
hear.
again. Mars clearly working for the boss. Ooh, but that was a really, really good Mars. If we look at our opponent, or not our opponent, if we look at Fairy's next energy generated is water, meaning that these Oricorios are unable to attack. Honestly, a perfect Mars. Even grabbing 2 of her boss, which don't really do much, and the Sire. Oh, the rare candy. Yeah, this is
I think we have everything.
this is everything. This is GG's. Really unfortunate because I think that had Mars not happened, we would be, in a situation where a rare candied plus Greninja could have cleaned up the game. But now we are just watching as Ray cleans up the game. It is going to be able to deal 30 right now into 50. It is just really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, very unfortunate, but it looks like we're gonna be seeing our game. Our finals look to be what it is. Lele? Oh my god, I have
Yeah,
forgotten what made
Tapu
it. Yeah.
Lele versus MST.
Versus Darkrai.
Oh
Not
wait,
Darkrai.
yeah.
Crobat, Arceus, Carnivine. I mean, if we would have put MST against his own deck, I'm down, but I think he wins either way.
Yeah. That Mars was so pivotal. And I think it's showing why, and I think I'm gonna say it. I think Mars is one of the best cards in the game.
Oh, it is for
period.
sure.
Yeah, like it's crazy how good. We just witnessed it. Mars, obviously, Mars. The first game, or the second game, or the first game. The second game was so fast. The first game, ended up unfortunately giving all the pieces, but they were already in a losing situation. And this game, just completely dominating. And we're here, Arceus Crobat looking for its first Ursiiday win. And the Lele, I got my smart money, currently in finals.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously bandwagoning you, but I also was voting for Tapu Lele to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So, what can I say? I'm so good at this.
Yeah. I think we're just simply believers. Believers.
we're believers. We're good. We're believers.
Did you have a third L, a third lay? We'll figure it out.
Well, she's a cutie, so like she'd be okay with it. It's like
exactly.
like an uwu moment. I don't know for the third L.
But yeah, we got Mythical Space Typhoon versus Ray. Very, very interesting finals. I think that this matchup, we did get to see MST versus Dilush. Dilush, unfortunately, just slight misplays led to a very large gap victory wise. I will say Ray has also not played this deck yet. It is important to note that Ray has not played a Lele deck yet. I don't know if they've played it in rank. It's a very new deck. It's been appearing only like around this weekend. So this is probably one of their first times playing this matchup. Will they have the wherewithal to see the lines where Dill cannot, right?
We'll have to see.
Oh, where Dilush cannot.
Let's hop to channel 54 real quick.
Yes, let's hop there.
Oh, we're a little laggy here. We might bring up MSTs. Oh, just in it.
Yeah. Oh, they are already also in it, and it looks like though this is at least turn 2, and Ray has like opened everything. This is like a dream hand, right?
Oh, no.
Of course, just a few cards, but this is as good as you're gonna get it.
I'm getting up the stream as quickly as possible here. We're gonna watch it from MS2 session. I DM'd you the link. I'm sure you already know this.
Yep.
This would actually be, by the way, MST's second win of the tournament. So
Yeah, I saw someone mention that. Which week did they win?
he won the last week before Darkrai Giratina, I think, with Rampardos. With Rampardos, he had Hitmonchan and Sudowoodo instead, or maybe Hitmonchan.
Okay,
and
okay,
right?
that's really huge. That's really cool. I think, yeah.
But it's Ray 42.
Yeah, but we're also already seeing the both decks kind of get started here. It should be noted that you can get rushed down by Carnivines, right? Especially if you don't have the Lele's, right? If you don't draw Lele, you will be getting rushed down, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. The Arceus charge, but you know, this Arceus isn't safe. One of the things that Lele loves is putting damage everywhere, and if you get damage onto a back Arceus, you can just win the game.
Yeah, we could see that very shortly here. Giratina, though, having a bit of a struggle versus this Carnivine. Does look like we're going to see that Cyrus come in, though, that's going to allow, this Giratina to attack. If that Pokemon in Ray's hand isn't a second Arceus or the top deck isn't, they won't be in range of being KO'd regardless. So...
Yeah, no, this is scary. It's kind of crazy. Cyrus has gotten so much better, right? Like, it's already a broken card, but now that you can control it with Greninja, we're seeing decks like MST using the double Cyrus, picking it up. We see the Arceus. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Arceus is down.
And we see Ray coming away with this. You know, it was a very 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 rough game there. I think I'd have to go back, but I think that might have been a preemptive preemptive attack. I think the Arceus only had one energy attached, and that might end up being what cost them the game. It's actually so crazy, but the game is not over. I keep yapping. And we see the double Greninja.
Oh. Yeah, I guess we do survive a turn here, or two, as long as they don't have heals.
Yeah, no, and they don't have heals. They use the solo giant cape in their deck. It didn't matter. We are never punished. MST giving us another double Greninja classic. Oh.
Let's see. Oh my god. There's the Vine Whip. No heals. Are we taking game one with MST? Not a Giratina or Taco Lalo on the board. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. That is...
That's something.
That is the... So
game
huge.
Game one, MST.
Wow, the script writers cooked with this one. I thought that it was a potential misplay. It ends up not mattering. And what a game. What a game. Love this. Like I said, we're not biased, but I do have smart money on Lele. You know, if I was a betting man, I would have put my house on Lele. So very happy to see.
Oh no, not the house. That's how things go downhill. That's the thing you're not supposed to bet. This rule, by the way, if you ever bet, don't bet your house.
Don't bet your house. Okay. Well, we'll find out, right? We're going into game 2. Let's see if Ray can reverse his fortunes.
Let's see. And it's Froakie versus Carnivine.
Yeah. And we see a rare candy drawn. This is a Greninja away, right? From already being able to just ping, 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 for the rest of the game.
Oh, and we do finally have Tapu Lele. So I really don't know how well it
Yeah.
does against Carnivine. Because it only is going to ever swing for 20 versus hit, but you know, it's okay.
Yep, and the Arceus coming down, boosting the Carnivine to deal 50. Really, really, really strong stuff. You need this Greninja or this Froakie is gonna croak and go bye-bye.
Let's see if he has it. We see a cape. We see a candy. See a candy. There's only one Pokemon that can
See the
have a candy in this board.
Candito.
We have Candido and Greninja is safe this turn. Looks like we have a ping,
Greninja.
but to who?
Ping, but to who is the correct thought? Like, what? Where is this going? It is going to the Arceus.
Ooh,
And the
Cyrus.
Cyrus on the Arceus to get over here. They're gonna have a long conversation together. If there is no leaf in Ray's hand,
There's a leaf in his deck.
it is looking, yeah, it's looking like a stally situation. And I love that Giant's Cape. Choosing to hold, allowing the Greninja to essentially live if there is a leaf, right? I always have contingencies or backups for your backups, and this is one of those situations where MST is playing for the potential leaf.
Ooh. We're safe.
Speak of the
We're
devil
safe.
and they shall appear. Oh wow, okay.
We're safe for
But
now.
that's all. Oh, that's all we will see for now. Very, very interesting. Lots to think about. And we are seeing the power of Carnivine Arceus, right? You're beginning to build this rush down. I don't think that they have enough turns, truthfully, to get through this, but
Couldn't we retreat the
only
Tapu
time will tell.
Lele here and put 40 each turn
Mm-hmm.
between the ping and the attack? But I guess then we still need like a Giratina to get set up as well to knock out the
Yeah, because
Arceus.
there is the Arceus in the room. We're forgetting someone. And the Arceus is every turn the Arceus is unchecked is another turn that it will get an energy attachment, another energy attachment, and it's just gonna go Noom, and without a Garantina in sight, it is looking very dire for MST.
Yeah, it definitely is looking very dire. He checks the discard. The only thing that's been discarded is a leaf. So we're going back to the Lele.
Yep.
Not that we've pinged this turn. And I think we're at 17
Where's the
seconds.
ping
It said.
going? Okay, they're going
Okay.
to the Arceus.
We are
Time is
going to
going,
Arceus as
time is
well.
going, and okay. So what this does is if they attach to the Arceus, it will be in range and a rare candy coming out, bringing out the Crobat, and the damage just went from, dealing a like solid, 50 to dealing 80 every turn. Not even a Pokemon Center lady will save you.
Yeah, and it looks like it's gonna be disastrous here, but because that does mean next turn they get Crobat ping and then finish off the Greninja.
Yeah, it is. It is exactly what it is looking like. Let's see what ends up happening. A Pokemon communication, but no Pokemon to communicate to. This is just going to be a do we see? Okay, to figure out where they want a PCL. I think you PCL the Lele personally, because
PCL
they'll take
the
the
Lele
30
to make
and
him
then
not be able to use even the attack on the Greninja. I agree with that.
yeah. And we are unfortunately going to see the end of the game almost. If there's a Giant's Cape from Ray, this Arceus will be able to live a Greninja ping. If there is another Arceus in that hand from Ray, another devastating amounts of 50s. There is another Arceus. No, you can already attach them. Ooh, yeah, this is looking like a rip, this game, even if, MST is able to find
Yeah,
that
this seems
Greninja or Garantina.
disastrous. I mean, if we hit new Tapu Lele, retreat back to new Tapu Lele. We already knocked out the Arceus this turn. Nope, never. We do have new.
No, we do see this though.
We do knock out
You know what? You
Arceus.
might no the
Bro, if
Froakie.
it had just been Tapu Lele, I feel like we'd be in a different story.
Yeah. Uh, very, very unfortunate. I think you are correct with Tapu Lele being a mon that could have made a difference here, but I think the Tina would have helped. Unfortunately, the Tina would not have been enough to win this game. I do need to point out that the second Arceus is already being set up, and this is I think that it's still cool to see. He is trying his best to like figure out a way out of this, but
Yeah,
I honestly don't see it.
me neither. We're definitely working to find it, but I don't think we found it.
Yeah. I think I think that it's always important to play to your outs, right?
For sure.
Unfortunately, there's not enough outs. It is going to be a Vine Whip. Goodbye. Do we at least see the Giratina? I think we've had like a trend of Giratina in game 2 being very shy. At least camera shy. And there it
Oh,
is!
there he is, though. Look at him.
Oh,
Just look at him.
a little too little. Look at him.
So cute.
Has Pokemon Pocket ever like is there a card that you like now or Pokemon that you like now because of Pocket? Because I think Giratina is that for me. I look at Giratina now and I'm like, that's baby boy.
That's baby boy. Maybe? I mean, like, there's Pokemon I think I disliked because of before that I don't have feelings about now.
Okay.
I don't have feelings about now. I had this really long rant about Drapion.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I have a very long rant about Drapion, including where it ended up leading to me having like my first, maybe it was like second pop-up tweet was me stepping on Drapion at Pokemon Worlds in Japan. I don't know if you remember they had these like Pokemon cards laid out like in a walkway. Thank you.
Yeah.
And one of my tweets was like me stepping on Drapion, and then Mew VMAX won the tournament, and I said, "You're welcome." As a follow-up tweet.
You're welcome.
Drapion was specifically to counter Mew VMAX. Like, not even joking. They tried. I mean, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
We will talk about it later, but it is important to note that MST's Giratina showing up in this game, which is really, really important. It needed to show up. And they are going second, which obviously, like I mentioned, you don't necessarily always want when you're playing this deck, but you are still going to be able to charge things up, especially that back Giratina, so it doesn't really matter too much. I was going to say the important thing is Lele has 90 HP, which means it cannot be donked by Carnivine plus Crobat. And we do see the Froakie, and 2 attaches to a Giratina is going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice start. MST definitely having a better game this time than game 2.
Yeah. The important part, though, is it is important to note that MST has 4 cards in hand. That is very, very red cardable. That is very Marsable. So the decision that you have to make is, do you want to play something? They're hovering a Giant Cape. They hovered the Giratina. It is very important. This is like a very important decision, right? Like, because if you don't do this and you get Mars, you'll probably regret it. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. We are going to attach Cape. I personally believe the Cape attach is to try not to hit Mars.
Yes. You are correct. Yes, I mean if you've played ranked at all, if you play Charizard,
Yeah.
so you're no stranger of getting red carded in Mars out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Um,
We tried to
and
decrease the hope for the random red card by randomly playing
yeah,
things like Cape.
is what you need, right? But let's see what ends up happening. I will say, like, sometimes you want that cape for the Giratina. Now you will no longer have this cape for Giratina. So a lot of things can happen, but there's no Zubat. So this is an extremely safe hand. MST is going so plus with the Pokemon communication in hand. If this gets Greninja, we are looking at what could potentially be an early game. Oh, it's a Froakie. Whew.
It
It
is
is
just a
not
Froakie,
the
but
earliest of games.
that would have been a really interesting Greninja. We could have hit it there.
Yeah, I am in full agreement with you. That's the wrong frog.
Yeah, you are reading his chat too. You're reading his chat.
Ugh.
By the way, guys, he's gonna do a Cyrus cosplay when he hits 50 subs. ST stuff. Did a really nice
Oh,
research cosplay.
see, and this is you Mars immediately at 4 cards, and this is a Mars that can be a game-winning Mars. We'll have to see.
The Divine Whipping. 10 health
Whew.
left.
10 health left.
We can see a retreat and straight to hitting, but do you want to actually do that when, I mean, our season's set up, so you could take 2 points that way, but and like set up for potential Cyrus in the future.
I think the misplay that MST might have made was attaching both energy to the back Giratina. And I'll explain why that's like not always the best play. Is because if you did like 3-1, you would have had the opportunity to retreat this Lele into the other Lele, right?
Makes sense.
But now they were open up to potentially devastating rare candy play, which we do see. And again, right, Pokemon Pocket's very punishing, and both players are essentially online. Anything can still happen in this game. I am just stressed out now.
A little stressing for sure. We are putting this again temporarily, but yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I think there's a lot of times where you probably shouldn't fully power up a Pokemon. When the turn you put them up, more than likely you can have them set up that turn. So like that energy could be on Tapu Lele, or like for like this situation, it would already be able to be retreated if you decide that you do want Giratina because it had an energy on it, and you'd be able to retreat back and power up Giratina that same turn.
Yep.
And it's probably smart for mirror matches or when you're against Tapu Lele to be careful with it like that. But how do you feel about 100%. People spreading energies against Tapu Lele? Because then you could also use it as like a poke for Cyrus, which could be problematic as well.
It is important to note though that the poke from Tapu Lele compared to the poke from Greninja is very committal. Using Energy Arrow ends your turn, right? Yeah. And we're already seeing like where this issue is, right? And it's just really unfortunate how this cookie ends up crumbling here. And we are seeing an Iono potentially getting the Cyrus out of his hand. This is the only form of hand disruption left, and it's the hand disruption that ends up working. Oh no, I think that I think that MST should have kept that Froakie in hand for a better odd. But now they're in a game where they have to top deck an extremely important card, or they just lose here.
Your team is
very
up.
unfortunate.
Do we have Cyrus?
Here we go.
Oh, we do top deck it. We do top deck it.
The top deck Cyrus. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Huge top deck, but this game is far from over. Oh my god, what?
They're gonna need a second Arceus to even really attack here, but I guess a Sabrina could still cause some problems if they have an Arceus.
Yeah, I think that this game is over. I don't know what you do. The second Arceus is coming out. You can use it as a like a tank, right? This game is actually. Oh no, it's not. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm stressed now because I realize that there's still a lot of game happening. If Greninja is not drawn here, eventually this Garantina will be in range, to get KO'd, and oh my gosh, hold up.
Oh my god, though, with that Cyrus. Or figure out where else to attach.
Yeah,
They don't
it
have
doesn't
a
matter too. It is important to note that that Ray does not run Sabrina in their deck list.
Yeah.
So there's no fair. These Froakies are safe.
They are for now.
They are for now. But it is a guaranteed win. I don't think you can deal with this. That Pokemon Center Lady, very important that it was to note that MST drew that Pokemon Center Lady so early and didn't use it. They chose to Giants Cape the Lele instead, and the PCL coming and being the difference maker in this game.
Absolutely.
What a finals!
What a finals! What a finals! But absolutely awesome game to watch. They did such a great job.
Absolutely awesome game to watch. Big shout out for MST winning their second Ursiiday, being a 2-timer. What a deck! What a match! I feel like I moved the edge of my seat.
What a fantastic job by MST and by Ray92. They did such a great job in our tournament today. And we want a huge shout out to both of them, Ray included. They did master classes in both of their specific decks. I had so much fun casting with you today, Jody. Do want to give a huge shout out to Jody here for putting in all this time casting with us. I had such a great time. You did such, the insight that you provided was absolutely awesome. And thank you so much for coming on and casting with us today, Jody. If anyone is interested in his content, the mods will also link it again. I already just linked it. But make sure you check him out. He is a literal world finalist in VGC. He is is that bad to say? I don't know. Anyway, I think it's good to say, but I saw you laugh, so I wasn't sure for a second. World finals in VGC. He's been top 3 in ranked in Pokemon Pocket, and he's one of the top competitive players in the game. So thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you would like to say today, Jody?
Honestly, thank you, Ursi, for hosting yet another tournament. Thank you for having me on again. This has been such a fun experience. There's been so many cool decks, and our smart money won, right? So feel really good about that. I guess my final message is chat. Use this deck before it's all over ladder. You guys have 24 hours. Good luck.
24 hours, yeah. And then you need to figure out the counter for it. Whatever that is.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely fantastic job. Casting, and yeah, what a great deck. Really fantastic deck. If you guys are... I do also want to give a huge shout out, though, as well to all of our players, not just MST, but also... all the players from yesterday and today. Thank you guys so much for playing in our tournaments and being a part of this grassroots scene. It is not possible to have such a fantastic grassroots scene without you guys, so thank you so much. I do also want to say a huge thank you to all of our viewers. There's 2,000 of you guys watching us every single weekend, and I really appreciate that. We would not be able to have, the 10K tournament next week or our weekly tournaments without our viewers, so thank you guys so much for being willing to watch the tournament, being willing to listen to our casting, be willing to play in it. You guys are absolutely the best, and we really appreciate you guys. Otherwise, Jody and I would be here talking to ourselves, and I don't think that would be as much fun.
It would not be.
So thank you guys so much for being here. I also do want to give a huge shout out, though, to our sponsor, XP Collect. They've been so awesome in supporting this grassroots scene every single week since the launch of this game. They didn't know what this grassroots scene was going to be like or anything like that when they first put in the 400 USD. And we are so happy and proud that we are able to, partner with them again for Ursiiday Pokemon Pocket Weekly number 28. We do next week have a 10K tournament, which is absolutely insane. Once again, only possible because of you guys in chat. So thank you guys so much, and who played in the tournament. So if you guys are interested in playing in the tournament, please make sure that you go and sign up. I'm really excited for that next week, and we're going to get to watch awesome players like Jody and MST play next week in the tournament. We're going to have some really fun interviews from them as well. I do also want to give a huge shout out to our judge group, though, and mod group, because honestly, we could not do this broadcast without our judges. So thank you guys so much, so much for putting in the time every single week to do that. So I really appreciate you guys for that. You guys are so awesome. And if any of you guys are playing and you have to call a judge, please make sure to remember to thank and always thank the judges, because they're absolutely the best. They put in upwards of like 15 hours every single week. We have people having to make sure people are broadcasting on Mother's Day. Make sure you say Happy Mother's Day if you have a mom to your mother. That being said, or to any parental figure in your life, thumbs up for parental figures.
Thumbs up. Love you, Mom.
Yeah, love you, Mom. If you're watching this, Mom, I'll call you after stream. Promise. Thank you for not texting me during this tournament. Actually, you did, but I just ignored it. Anywho, but that being said, thank you guys so much. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ursi. I stream Pokemon Pocket about 7 days of the week. So if you're interested in Pokemon Pocket content, we'd love to have you guys join us in, the weekday content. That is less tournaments, more Ursi, and trying to play ranked and going completely insane trying to do so. So if you guys are interested, we'd love to have you guys check us out. I'm going to start waving, and sooner or later, I'll reach that. But make sure you check out